guy says, I didn't know. So the Gemara says, Tishot the Bane Rabbi Nachman, Helen Zeb Yagamal. So it's interesting enough. Now, you're going to tell me over much of this Pasuk. So interesting enough, this helps me resolve another case. What's the other case? Helen Zeb. Let's say, God didn't know about Avodah Zarah, and he didn't know about any of the accompanying modes of worship. What's the halacha? Tishot the Elochayiv Ela Achos. So here, but ultimately, again, you only chayiv once. So the Marshal so the Gemara says, so the Elochayiv Ela Achos. Holokasha, Tishot Elochayiv Ela Achos. Shouldn't be a question. Resolve it. Well, me matters muklis lahani klai b'avodas k'chavim. Now, 1 second. Let's go back for a second. We're dashing Achos Mehira to apply to Avodah Zarah. But can you really go ahead and dashing these psukim to apply to Avodah Zarah? Do you have the Mashiach par? You have the Mashiach par. Ubenasi Seir, Ubiyachid Kivsa, Usira. As well as again, all of these different levels of liability, you have the part coin Mashiach, which is a part. The offering, the guilt offering is the Nasi rules erroneously. Right, that's a seer. And for an individual, it's the kivsa seera. These are ba'avodas k'chavim by idolatry. Now, in the shavim, shebeseira kiyachid. Ultimately, in the Avodah Zarah, also the Gemara taught that halacha l'maisa the offers off a seer like the individual. Okay, so the Gemara says, the Rashi points out that even the ba'avodas k'chavim kanya le'el v'shavim that k'chavim shekhan Mashiach b'seir kiyachid. The Gemara says, and the Gemara concludes this discussion. There's nothing more to discuss regarding this particular topic. The multiple aspects of that. The Sunnah reviews. We're not going to finish malachas ba'avodas k'chavim. Lehacha el mishtachavo kidas kapin Rabbi Yosef. So what's the bottom line is the Gemara says over here is that halacha l'maisa. Interestingly enough, there's a similarity between Shabbos and Avodah Zarah. What's the matter? What's the matter? The similarity between Shabbos and Avodah Zarah actually demonstrates quite physically. Whoever is Mechalel Shabbos, it's as if he's worshiping Avodah Zarah, right? Shabbos is the mitzvah that solidifies and concretizes our belief in God as a creator. Without that, there is no belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The primary essence of the Rizona Shalom is that historical and contemporary creator. Shabbos is the day that solidifies that, right? We abstain from creative activity in order to yield that creative become to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, failure to observe Shabbos is tantamount to worship of Avodah Zarah. The Gemara not takes that comparison as best but just to teach us, although it's from two different sources, that just like Shabbos, the Torah goes out and singles out kindling in order to show you that there's individual liability for every act of Kol Shabbos. So the Torah singles out prostration by Avodah Zarah to teach us that there's individual level of liability for every act of worship of Avodah Zarah. Okay, so the Gemara says, "Let's get us a shul by Rudala." So what's the days? Halki Tanakame, Chomer b'Shabbos mishabbos, Chomer b'Shabbos mishabbos. Let's listen to this. There's a chumrah that Shabbos has over other mitzvahs, and there is a chumrah that other mitzvahs have over Shabbos. Okay, here we go. Chomer b'Shabbos. What's the chumrah of Shabbos? 3 lines down on 62b. Saturdays, other days. Chomer b'Shabbos. Shabbos also shtein be'helam echad. Chai b'cholachos v'achos. Okay, so now we'll read it and then we're going to define our terms in a little bit. Shabbos. If you committed 2 malachos be'helam echad. Now, what does that mean? 2 malachos in one lapse. Now, again, we'll have to discuss exactly what kind of lapse we are talking about over here. What's the lapse? Now, the pastors, but it sounds like, we'll discuss. So, also, Shtein Be'helam Echad, if you went ahead and you did 2 malachos in one lapse of awareness, Chayiv Akol Achos V'Achos, you are Chayiv for each individual malacha. So, again, there's a lapse there. Good. You might say, Masha'in Kei B'Shan Mitzvahs. Now, that is not true by other mitzvahs. So, that is by other mitzvahs. If a person commits 2 transgressions, let's say 1 lapse of awareness, you're only going to be chayiv once. Okay, now let's analyze. On the other hand, other mitzvahs have a liability over Shabbos. How so? When it comes to mitzvahs, Shaddam below Miskabein, chayiv. This is very interesting. If you accidentally perform a malacha or an avera without kavanah, you are going to be chayiv. Masha'inkin b'Shabbos. This is not true by Shabbos. Now, let's say now this is very interesting. So let's say I just want to introduce. We'll just talk about a particular term which we've seen before. What this refers to is asay. We're going to see, let's say, when it comes to accidental violation of a malacha, there's two different ways that could occur. There's typical shogeg. Now, what's typical shogeg? Typical shogeg is, for example, let's say on Shabbos. I know that it's Shabbos. I didn't know that turning on a light was awesome. For example, right? So I know that it's Shabbos. I'm shogeg. There's another thing called the misasik. Misasik means I am involved in a totally different act, actually potentially a permitted act. And as a result of that act, something prohibited occurs. Meaning, whereas if you take a look at the light case, right? I had kavanah to turn on the light. Right, what was my mistake? I didn't know you had to do it on Shabbos. That was my mistake. So again, there was kavanah for the act, but just lack of awareness for what it is that was doing. Misasik, as we'll see in just a moment, means I didn't have kavanah to do anything wrong. It just happened to be, as a result of what I was doing, something else occurred which was prohibited. So now, we'll come back to it in just a moment. So we'll go back. Chum v'sham mitzvos, so there's a chumrah of other mitzvos over Shabbos, and that's what. Shem sham mitzvos, shagad, below miskabel chayiv. Ultimately, again, if you go and you do a shogeg without kavanah you're chayiv, masha'inkin b'Shabbos. By Shabbos, if there's no kavanah for the act, you're not chayiv, right? So if you do an act without any level of intention, Shabbos causes intentionality. So by other mitzvahs, if you perform an aveirah even without intentionality, you can be chayiv. By Shabbos, you're only chayiv with intentionality. So let's analyze this. So the Gemara says, for example, Amar, let's now dissect this. Amar, Chomer b'Shabbos, so what's the Chomer of Shabbos? Shabbos also shtav. So remember again, what did we just say? On Shabbos, if you perform two malachos, in one lapse, then what's the halacha? You're chayiv for each and every malacha. Okay, so the Gemara says like this. Hey, what's the case? This is fascinating. Okay, so let's say on Shabbos, maybe you went ahead and you violated Shabbos morning, right? You went ahead and you harvested, you harvested and you ground the wheat. Right? So those are two different malachas, harvesting and grounding. So let's say you do both of those things. Some people do everything not to go to shul on time, right? So you go ahead, right? You harvest and you grind up the wheat. So two different malachas. The Kabbalah and Gabi Shani says, so what will be a comparison, let's say, out of Hilchot Shabbos? What will be a comparison out of Hilchot Shabbos? For example, the Achal Chilek Zidam. So let's say again, the parallel case would be, you ate forbidden fat and blood. Okay, so just like by Shabbos, Ketzira and Techila, two malachos, you're doing those things in one lapse. So it's only you're eating forbidden fat and blood. Okay, so the Gemara says, I don't know. In both of those cases, it makes sense that you'll be dualized. Remember again, the Gemara said before that Shabbos has a chumrah over other averos. How so? Or on mitzvahs, that by Shabbos, if you perform two acts in one lapse, you're chayiv twice, whereas for other averos, you only be chayiv once. But the Gemara says that's not true. By Shabbos, let's say I go and I do Ketzira and Techina in one lapse. Okay, so the parallel case would be I need blood and chaylev in one lapse. So by Shabbos it should be chayiv twice. But if you use blood and fat, so let's say what's the halacha? You should also be chayiv twice. So what's going on over here? So the Gemara says, Ella, listen to this. You have a shine mitzvahs, you have chayiv Ella afas hidam. What would be a parallel case by other mitzvahs that should only be chayiv in those other cases? The chaylev and the chaylev. Interesting, I will say here, I eat two kization of chaylev in one lapse of a way. Can't get enough of that chaylev. Right, so what happens, I eat two pieces of chaylev in one lapse of awareness. So we'll say, so if I was in that case, you only be chayiv once. The Kabbalah Gabi Shabbos Gabi Ketzira Ketzira. So we'll say, if by Shabbos, if you were to perform two acts of harvesting, right? Harvesting one, and then go back and harvesting two, that you would do dual liability for that. So the Gemara says, I don't understand. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. By Shabbos also, if you were to do 2 acts of harvesting, right, in quick repetition of each other, you'd also only be chayiv once. Now, by the way, this is why you see that Rabbi Yochanan told Rabbi Zakkai to get this teaching out of here, right? That in other words, he didn't like this memory. He did not feel that this actually made any sense. So Mar says, I don't understand. My kushya, what's the problem over here? Listen to this. So let's go back to our original case. The case in Hilchos Shabbos, where if you perform 2 acts in one helam, that there's dual liability. What's the case? Like we said before, it's Shabbos morning, I harvest the wheat and I grind it, right? 2 malachos. Now again, all of this is in one lapse. The pashtos, what's the lapse? I didn't know that it's Shabbos. I did not know that it's Shabbos. I didn't know that it's Shabbos. I'm harvesting, I'm grinding, so there's going to be dual liability in this. Okay, so now, what would be the corresponding case? Let's say by another Avera, where in one lapse, 2 acts only results in singular liability. What would be that case? I saw about this. Listen to this. Kid Rabbi Ami. Rabbi Ami said, Zibeach v'kiter v'nisech behelam echad. Oh, okay, here it is. Rabbi Ami says, if you slaughter, right, offer incense, offer libations, you do all of these things for Avodah Zarah, all in one lapse of awareness. What's halacha? You only chayiv once. So let's say, what do you see from an interesting contrast? So by Hilchos Shabbos, if you perform multiple malachas in one lapse of awareness, you chayiv for each and every performance. On the other hand, by Avodah Zarah, if halach l'maisa you perform multiple acts of worship in one lapse, you're only chayiv once. To which the Gemara says, no, you can't set this up with Avodah Zarah. Why not? The Tani Sefer, because look at the end of the Brisa. Chomer v'sham mitzvahs, right? So we'll say, so that's the chumrah of Shabbos over other mitzvahs. That's the Gemara suggesting. But what was the end of the Brisa? The other Brisa was that there's a chumrah of sham mitzvahs. A chumrah of sham mitzvahs over Shabbos. How so? Sheb'sham mitzvahs shagag v'lo miskavein chayiv. Let's listen to this. Remember again, by other mitzvahs, if you perform an accidental act even without kavanah, there's liability. However, again, shagag v'lo miskavein. However, by Shabbos, remember again, by Shabbos, what was the halacha? If you do shogeg without kavanah, you're pater. Right? Shabbos requires kavanah. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Shogeg v'lo miskavein b'avodas kochavim heichi dami. So I will say, what is shogeg below kavanah? What is that case? What's a case of accidental avodah zarah without kavanah? But there be liability for that. Here we go once again. If I bowed down to a building and I thought the building was a shul, right? But it turned out that it was really avodah zarah. That's not avodah zarah at all. Why? Because as you said before, again, my intentions are pure. My intentions are absolutely pure. Rather, what's the case? The case is where I bow down to a statue. Say if I'm bowing down to the statue as a god, meisitu. Then again, that's a meisik. But if I did not accept it as a god, then lo klumbi. Then I will say it's nothing. Then the meisik is absolutely nothing. Ella may ava b'yira. Rather, the case we must be talking about over here is where I'm bowing down to the idol, but I'm bowing down to it ultimately again out of love or fear for a particular individual. So once again, hani chalabayid. So that makes sense. Christ Rabbi says that there's liability for such an act. But according to Rabbi, who says that you're potter, what is there to say? Rather than say what's the case? The case ultimately again is where the person thinks that it is mutter to worship idolatry. That's the case. So what's interesting enough, so apparently Omer Mutter will create some level of liability by Avodah Zarah, but ultimately again by Shabbos would be Potter Legame. Now again we'll see if that's true. That's true. That's Rabbi Chometz or not. Ankan, but by Nachman Helam Zeh. So remember, up until this point, Rabbi. So I've come up by Nachman Helam Zeh. Up until this point, Rabbi was only asking Rav Nachman about Helam Zeh. In other words, when there was a lapse of awareness on both areas. As I will say, just to be clear, the question of liability was always a very simple question. Are you going to be chayiv once, or are you going to be chayiv multiple times? That was the question. Pater legamre lekel nandamar. No one says, or I should say, the asks really this question: is there anyone who says that there is complete liability, complete exemption? Is there anyone who said that you're totally pater for anything? To which the Gemara says, why not? Because Villa the Olam Lacha, Reisha Ba'avodas Kochavim, the Seifa B'Shar Mitzvahs. Maybe we're saying the following. The Reisha is talking about Avodah Zarah. The Seifa is talking about other mitzvahs. And how so? The Shagag Olam Iskavim. And what are we talking about over here? Talking about a case of an accidental commission of an Aveira without Kavanah. Now watch this. The Kasavar, what would be an example of that? I almost said for example, what would be an example by a general Aveira of Shodi without Kavanah? See, here it is. Roku Ubalo. So I said, here's what it is. There happens to be a piece of chaylev in my mouth. I forgot that there's chaylev in my mouth. I just think it's saliva. So what do? I swallow it. So a typical Shodi case is where I know what I'm doing, but I don't know that it's usher. This case is a little bit different. In this case over here, I don't even have kavanah for the act of eating chaylev. Right? In other words, it's one thing to have kavanah to eat chaylev, but just to be uninformed and think that consumption of chaylev is mutter. In this case over here, I had something in my mouth. I forgot that it was chaylev. I just thought it was excess saliva, so I swallowed it. So there I will say, there's not even kavanah. There's not even kavanah. The kasavar, that's shagag below his cabin. The kasavar, roku bolo. That will say, nehalacha l'maisa. You're chayiv in that case. Chayiv in that case. So remember, we're creating a contrast between Shabbos and Shar Averos. So by other Averos, I will say, even if you have absolutely no kavanah for the commission of the Avera, but you do it, there's liability. I forgot that there's chaylev in my mouth. I thought it was saliva. I swallowed it. I have absolutely no kavanah for any chaylev consumption. That's fine, right? But I'm still chayiv. Interestingly enough, the Gemara says, Masha'enkin b'Shabbos, the pater. So I will say Shabbos is going to be pater. If you don't have kavanah for the act by Shabbos, you're pater. Why not? The Gemara says, Shinis, for example, Shinis kavi l'hagbias atalosh, v'chatach asam b'chuber. Pater. Well, it's a fascinating case. Let's say on Shabbos, I go out, there's a cucumber on the ground. So I want to make a salad. I'm going to pick up the cucumber. And I figured to myself that cucumber is detached. So because it's detached, therefore again, it's mutter for use. It turns out I pick it up and I end up plucking it out of the meat, which is one of the malachos. So let's say, interestingly enough, on Shabbos, you are pater. You are pater for that. Now, why? So let's say, because we're going to see, the Gemara says, Could Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel? Because Rav Nachman Amar, Hamisasik bechalavin, uba'arayos chayiv shekin ned. So listen to this. Misasek. You know again, what's misasek? Misasek means I am involved in a permitted act. But what ends up happening is I end up doing something prohibited. For example, by the chaylev case is what we just saw. There's a piece of chaylev in my mouth. I totally forgot about it. I just thought it was saliva. I swallow it. That's a case of misasek. As far as I'm concerned, I am ready to go ahead and do something totally permitted, but it turns out to be something prohibited. There's still liability for that. Interestingly enough, same thing by arayos, by immorality. All right, so this is an interesting one, right? Where again, I have kavanah to do something permitted, but it turns out that something prohibited happens. So, for example, let's say Ruvain is ready to have relations with his wife, Rachel, but it turns out through some confluence of events that he ends up having relations with Rachel's sister. He slipped, right? So I might say yes, but it's some type of mistake occurred, right? And he ends up having relations with the wrong woman. But again, that was not at all his intentions. There was no intentionality. It was, interestingly enough, lack of intentionality. I feel like people say that all the time by Arias, right? So once again, but in this case, legitimately, his intention was to have relations with his wife. Through some confluence of events, he ended up having relations with the wrong woman. I mean, I don't know how exactly he's going to explain that to his wife, right? But for myself, that's not our problem for today. Right? So again, by all other Averos, this is interesting. By all other Averos, lack of intentionality still results in liability by machshavas asra Torah. We'll say when it comes to Shabbos, Shabbos requires melachas machshavas. Melachas machshavas means intentionality. By Shabbos, there has to be intentionality for the act, and if there is no intentionality, there is absolute exemption. Absolute exemption. That's why when you go to pick up the cucumber, thinking that the cucumber was detached, and it turns out that you lift it up and you just plucked it out of the ground, there's no liability for that because you need melachas machshavas. So let's say, so interesting, so we'll have to stop over for today. What it turns out is halacha l'maisa. Halacha l'maisa, these fascinating distinctions. So first of all, the one thing that you do have commonality about is that there is individuated liability, just like for Shabbos, to have that by Avodah Zarah. What's the difference between and again, same thing by Shabbos and Avodah Zarah is that you could be chayiv for multiple hours individual liability. An interesting distinction, however, is by all other averos, I will say, even lack of intentionality results in liability. By Shabbos, only with intentionality is there liability. I want to say for today. Let's say we are our Yarkei college being very Yisrael and Eretz Hashem this afternoon. For tonight, flight is tonight, so I'll be there Eretz Yisrael. But the shir will go on, so we'll be broadcasting the shir back here. And I thank Abi Fogel, who is going to be taking over our technology logistics over here, while our logistics team is on site in Eretz Yisrael. So the shir is going to be broadcast here every day in Eretz Hashem. Obviously not Shabbos, but we'll still keep going strong in Eretz Hashem. Two chavros, one here, one Eretz Halabai. We'll all be zochah in Eretz Hashem to join together for shir Eretz Yisrael b'Karov. No, so that's the difference. So you're not allowed to use it because it's a result of malacha, but there's no liability. Alright, go outside. Good afternoon. Such a schos Baruch Hashem to be able to begin our Yarkei Kala with a little bit of Daf Yomi, or a lot of Daf Yomi, but we have a lot to do today. Today's Daf is Samech Gimel. Samech Gimel. Like Rabbi Shalom just said, remind you of the words of Rabbi Nachman. And Rabbi Nachman says that when a Yid closes his eyes and he yearns to be in Eretz Yisrael, the neshama, only the body is confined by physical limitations. The soul is not. So the neshama could be anywhere you want it to be. So if a person closes his eyes,
may I please tell you about my project? Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Rabbi ROTHSCHILD. If you don't know who I am, you will. I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for world peace. I've been doing so for more than 4 years. My streams go back to the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. This is a real-life Big Brother, a real-life Truman Show, a real-life timeline or time capsule of human achievement. In the 1990s, Bill Gates coined the phrase content is king, and I'm making it true today. I'm king of the internet. This is the biggest event in global history, and here's why. In 2018, The Economist magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's #1 resource, and I have more data archived on the internet than any person ever, which is making me a very influential person. And with that influence, I'll go viral, and when I go viral, I want to make sure you all, your friends, your family, are all made financially independent if you're not already. I want to make sure that you have generational wealth if you don't already. And I want you to be able to start charities and philanthropic organizations of your own. I'm unlike any influencer you're ever going to find on the internet. I'm not live on one YouTube stream, nor two. I'm live simultaneously on over 20 separate YouTube streams, 24 hours a day, in 360 degrees. And I even have a ceiling camera. If you look at my pinned post, you can see a video about me. You can find a link to all of my YouTube streams. You can find a link to my link tree. I dare you to look at my link tree. Nobody's going to dare you to look at their social media, but I am, because I have more social media than anyone on the internet. I have more content than anybody on the internet. It would take you years to go through just some of my accounts. They're so full of content. You'll additionally find a link to my Discord there. It's discord.me/rabbi. In addition to streaming my life for world peace and wanting to make you all rich, I'm an advocate for ending world hunger through the use of technology such as agricultural drones, floating greenhouses, saltwater greenhouses, hydroponics, vertical farming, cloud seeding. I want to help end world thirst. I'm sponsored by a cryptocurrency that's worth about $100 million, and one of the things that we do is we build wells and water towers in developing nations such as Nigeria. I'm an advocate for the Life Straw program and, most importantly, desalination technology, where we pump Earth's seawater onto land to make it drinkable. If you're a reply guy, if you're a social media marketer, if you are a raider or a shiller, connect with me. I'd love to talk with you. All of the advice that I give you is free. I want to be a coach. I want to be a mentor. I want to be a friend to you. But most importantly, I want you to know I'm here to support you all, both professionally and personally. I'm here to be a positive influence on your life. I'm here to have an optimistic view on the world. And most importantly, I want to give people hope. And with that, I sincerely want to thank you for the opportunity to share.
Great show, man, and it sounds like a really cool project, man. Helping the world, also helping people here in the space that are looking for opportunities. So everybody connect with him because he's open to talk with reply guys and moderators and everybody that are active in the space. And check out this project, and please, Rabbi, also put a post up near the jungle because then everybody can have a look and they can also read about the project, because when people talk about the project, that is one thing, but also people reading your project, that comes with a little bit more clarity. So put something up on the jungle drum if you want to do that. And yeah, people, check out Rabbi Rothschild. Follow, bro. Let's connect.
Well, certainly, I'll follow everyone who has followed me. Thank you.
No problem, brother. Let's continue if you want to go. Who else we have here? Yara. Got to follow back, bro. If not, you can speak. That's a rule, bro.
It's like a thief of the night, baby. That's right.
Get a taste of the gooey golden.
Yo, what is this bullshit?
Nick sent me a video of, I want to just a shout out to, can't remember the guy's name, who sent me a video for $100. Why? And the caption said, for watching your special. And it was very funny. Fucking asshole asked me for $100. David Ruiz, maybe, I don't know what. Shout out to David. Maybe he singular or asked you to no, he requested $100. It was $100 for watching your special. That was so funny. How about Rogan and you? You guys should just know, like, I've been laughing. I laughed at that for a day. I don't know why. I sent, so my buddy Dan Holloway. Well, hold on. We have a group chat. It's me, Rogan, Eddie, Brian. Yeah. And we just send bullshit on their silly stuff, fight stuff. Yeah. And so, Brian posts this heartfelt, it's Veterans Day. And then clearly just screenshot and then added the caption. But when you're with friends, like, it was so lame. But let me tell you what I wrote. So listen to what I wrote. Yeah, so it's Veterans Day, and my buddy Dan Holloway, my thoughtful guy, writes a sort of an essay called American Warfighter. And he talks about how Americans have always gone to war for an ideal and an idea, not for treasure, not for to conquer land. That's what you said. So I say, I attached the article. To put context, it's the morning, it's early, but I get upset. I had my coffee. Well, hold on. Before this, I said this, it's Donald Trump selling his Ferrari at 4:30, I think. And I put Callan, because Callan's having troubles with his Tesla. I go, Callan, you got to buy Trump's Ferrari? And then you respond, my actual birthday coming up, Rogan, this would be a good gift. So it's all silly. Yes. It's all silly. And then Brian sends this. So I just write this first thing in the morning to Joe Rogan, to Brad Shop, and Eddie Rabbi. Knowing the meaningful difference between things, not the similarities, is the mark of wisdom. This is a good essay on America as an idea versus all the other reasons nations have gone to war. Dan Holloway wrote this. He's excellent. And I attached the article. And then I just get shocked. Hey man, shut up. And then Rogan goes, gay. And then the next text from Rogan is, text one more thing like that and I'll block your number. Is the best. And then Shaw follows up with, you've ruined my morning, Callie. I mean, talk about flipping my wits. I had my coffee, I'm like, I sat down to my boys, I look, I'm like, oh my God. That's so annihilated. Just annihilated. Said one more thing like don't block your number. Like when your friend is 30 years ago, you say like, but shut up, dude. It's just not the place. Shut up. Did you say it playfully or you? No, he was dead serious. No, he was there. I was playing it. Rogan's playing it. No business. So funny. It had no business being. And they're all playing, but it's just so funny. Like, that's how guys fuck with each other. Like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Text one more thing like this, I'll block your number. He's so funny sometimes. Dude, I was so aggressive. All of us were aggressive. All of you. You ruined my day, Cal. I reread it in the green room to Shane Gillis. Were they laughing? They were laughing. It was so funny. Because Shane was like, why would you do that? And I was like, I don't know. It's that coffee. He's like, I get it. Somebody said that was so funny, man. Thank you. I'm on the road this weekend. I did some jiu-jitsu this morning with William Tackett from the Tackett twins. They're at UFC for jiu-jitsu. They're those are killers. And it was a complete waste of their time. It was a complete waste of his time. I was trying to work on a guillotine and a couple of other jokes. And doing it there and not doing them well. He was demonstrating and about ripped my neck off. He didn't. He could have, but So yeah, monsters. Little monsters. Yeah, really nutty. It's gonna take too time other day to. Yeah, you'll take guys. It takes guys on Wednesday. Guys, they teach you shit. It's such a mess. No. It's such a it's scary. It's getting scary. I was on top of that with that art type. Yeah, it's all these guys who teach. They're always making my thoughts. I was on top of Shane. Just absolutely fucking mollywopped me. And I got it. He was just going. And I got on top of Shane. And I looked at the tactics and I looked at the other guys. And I go, guys, my top game is harrowing. It's my top picture is harrowing. Harrowing. I go, yeah, it's harrowing. And you guys want to line up? Round robin, and I fucking clench. And Shane just goes, yeah, got me out of it. Yeah. I was at that correct gym, which was formerly known as the audit gym. I was at that correct gym. Like, man, why don't you come in? Tim was in here, Carol was in here. Why don't you come in and go with the boys? I go, I said, I just get to work, man. It's like my time. I don't fucking hear the roll. You guys are at the Shark Tank and stuff, right? What was that place called? Yeah, it's another place. But those are the guys, right? Over there. Yeah, but it's such a mess. I'm going to work out. It's like the right thing. You're so big. I don't know how you're going to even if you went to the like to the 10th round, it has been that big class. Because it's like the big work. Yeah, you get a work. Yeah, you get a workout. He's high back to it. There's a ton of big like that. It's not an issue. Yeah, there's a ton of big things. Yeah. You just didn't give a fuck. You did it for so long. Do you miss it at all? No, I mean, I had fun rolling. There's like a mission up down, but I mean, I did it. I don't know. Yeah. I know what you mean by that. If there's some purpose and it's competing, there's a competition coming up. Right. But to just keep doing it. Just lift weight. Yeah. There's this sort of diminishing returns. You gotta figure out what you're doing. It's good to get a workout in, but you can get a workout that way. You can't. We have these things that can try to fuck that. Yeah, that's really it's very easy to do if you're not. That's why I wrote it down. Especially if you're going if you're not, even if you're just going through it, it's just like this shit happens. Yeah. It's like boxing. You can get in there and spar, but you're gonna get hit even if you're going light. You're gonna get boxing. It's just you're gonna get caught. Have you done like a dedicated weightlifting thing that's set up? I do everything. I do EMOMs, I do weightlifting, I do it all. I do a bunch of shit. I'll just do sometimes I'll fucking torch myself out of here, not like yourself. I mean, you want to get a good right? I'm not going to get visually. There's no way I can without changing my endocrine system, and I'm never going to get big, but there's no way a guy at my age is going to put off muscle. Honestly, even if you eat a lot and lift weights, you gotta be on some shit. Yeah, also for one, but you can completely change your lifestyle to a lot fast. All the guys I know who are my age who are doing stuff younger, they're all doing stuff. They all looked at me and they were like, look, you have a lot of energy, and you move. Yeah, they were like, you have a lot of energy, and you move pretty well. If you do it, you're gonna have to keep doing it. They all told me not to do it. They're like, I don't need to do it, but you don't want to. There's no reason because just you being big, I know we joke about it. It's just not in the cards. It's like me want to be 170 pounds. It's never gonna happen. My it's never been big. I just like for a while. Yeah, I just like having energy. I feel like my energy's fucked or whatever, but as long as I have this energy and I can still get it up, yeah. And I feel like I still have a lot of energy, and I see a lot of dudes my age who don't, right? Like I see a lot of guys who go into 50. If I'm sleeping well, and I'm not a drinker, I have a lot of fucking energy. Not tea, tea's fine. He has a straight like that right now. But they're going to wrestling, and Boston learned that. Some kids are different. This kid's 6, and he's just aggressive as fuck. He's so aggressive, and it was driving me nuts. He's a nice kid. He's super competitive. He's a nice kid. So he's 6 in November. And so this kid is 6, maybe turning 7, he's a beefier kid. But, Bossy's no athletic, and this kid's just fucking aggressive. And then, they teach him to their head, and, collar tied. The kid's ramming his head into Bossy, pushing him in the mat, keeps doing Bossy, dude, get off, you see Bossy, and the coaches, it's not their fault, they're great. And there's 30 kids, and they can't just focus on that, they'll focus on Bossy. And then next he keeps doing it, and then they're just drilling. So Boston gets 2 takedowns, that kid gets 2 takedowns. That kid would get a takedown, and then jump on top of Boston and pin his arm down. I was like, man, how long did I let this go before I fucking intervened? I'm like, yeah, let me figure it out. Kept going. Kid's head got Boston. I'm like, fuck, Boston, get over here. Get over here. And the staff's like, you're right. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, Boston, come here. So that kid's gonna keep coming at you, dude. He's super aggressive, right? I know you're having fun. That kid's not. My kid's not playing around. This is at pretty welcoming environment. But it's my kid, that kid keeps getting aggressive. It's looking at his parents that was watching him. When he comes in and comes aggressive, I want you to fucking lay that board on your eyes and slap his fucking face every time until he stops coming at you. Otherwise, this will be all night. We have an hour left. So when he comes at you, you just have to keep coming. Fucking slap him. That's all you have to do. If I can do it, I'm going to say, I'm teach you about it. Now go. The kid's all of a sudden chilled out. Most kids drive me nuts, man. I'm like, no one's going to say nothing. Do I let it keep you? What do you do? Do you let it keep you on? No, I said, no. Save that for your home. No, we're here to get working. You know what I'm saying? We let it get reps. You go to ROTHSCHILD, go with your brothers at home.
When kids are 5 and 6, nobody's paying attention. They're just doing it. It's enough that they're doing it. A lot of times they're just
not where I come from. If it's an organized thing, and don't get me wrong, there's kids like that.
Yeah, they're 5, 6.
They're 5, 6. There's kids like that. What's the most? And it's not looking at where I come from, but even when I was 5, I was messing around with them in the dugout, I was messing around on the field. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they gotta be fucking Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant killers. But if it's an hour, you pay attention. You do what you're supposed to do. Then after you want to play, do your thing. But when you're there, it's a dedicated time. If you don't learn, you gotta learn from it. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it. Like in baseball, he takes it so serious. All the kids be jumping on the fucking dugout, throwing blows. I'm watching the game. 0-8, He can mess around. My thing is that if you're going to dedicate to that, you have to teach him how to get revenge. That's where he gets it.
Let's take a little break here because I like watching sports. I like watching fighting. I like watching football. I like watching the NBA.
If you have money on all that, that's the thing. If you see 322 this freaking Saturday in Madison Square Garden, we've also got the NBA season popping. And DraftKings News Game Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for your shot.
I'm a new customer. You're going to get $50 in Pick 6 credit.
Here's how it works. Just shut your little trap. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. They bigger your picks, they bigger your payout. So they your picks tonight if you want, and don't just win. Stack up those payouts. DraftKings customers get 50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, pick, play, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use the code FIGHTER. Let's go FIGHTER. Play just 5 and get 50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable. Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Ends December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
You're not on board with that.
It's not that. I just think 5 and 6 year olds get tired. An hour's a long time. So it depends. But you can't have them fucking around because they're gonna fuck around. So you have to let them go.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're here, do
Especially now.
Yeah. And some kids, and then there is that thing where the kid's kind of feeling his own, so he's kind of, using his head and stuff like that. And the thing about that is, the thing about that, it's not fun for your kid, then the kid doesn't want to, you gotta
nail it on the head, and then Tiger's like, yeah, they're so upset. Like, and you get Boss who's walking by, because if that kid keeps doing that to Boss, he's not going to enjoy wrestling. He's going to stop before it even begins. That's the problem. That's right. Like, there's a way to mess around.
But that's why supervision is really important.
But it's tight, but it's tough for the coaches too, right? Because
they got a lot of
kids from 5 to 12. So there's 30 kids. There's fucking 15 groups. It's tough. It's not much smaller.
Yeah, it's tough. No, but I think what I'm really on board with is sports and that kind of thing, because I think it's really important. I just think it's really important for kids to negotiate that space. All of that stuff. That's part of it, by the way. That's part of it. That's part of it. Right there, like Dad telling me, like, snap me down. That's a story you can tell.
And also,
the only way you learn is that, too. All of a sudden, it's not what the hell. It's like,
that's what I told him. I'm like, I'm going to give you a tool to combat that. This won't be the first time you run into this. So, you probably run that whatever a year from now. Just because of the surgery, you're going to learn today.
I love that. I'm a huge proponent of sports for kids. I think that kind of stuff is great, too. At 5 and 6, getting there. Learning your body. And learning social cues. That boy's got to learn. That boy's got to learn.
Correct.
Hey. What's going to happen is we're going to put you with the 8-year-old. And then you're going to try that with him. He's going to tell us around.
What's going to happen is Bossy goes, big brother across the map there, big brother, I'm having a problem. And D goes, I'll be your Huckleberry. And then you have a problem, sir. That's where this goes, the big boy. Yeah, D's natural comes from giant wrists. No, is he? Yeah, he loves it. Like, his neck and traps. It's his fucking hands, dude. But then yesterday, because we're all in on football right now, because they have that big national to run Saturday, so we're constantly doing football, and he's running with his buddy and his other coach all day. They're with us since they got home from school. They're doing routes, concepts, and it's practice at 5:45, we're going to 5:10 in my head. I'm like, they're running now, I'm not going to stop anybody else, but I'm sorry, kids don't get tired, and I'm like, I'm going to give them day off, because we're doing another practice today, and I go, T, dude, you ran some of your routes, dude, you're good, man, so you want to skip the rest of the night and just drill something out? What? No. Like, hell no, I'm going for the rest of the whole day. When he says that, I'm like, all right, let's go. That's great. Really? Yeah, just like, that's great. Because that's pretty rare, because kids just naturally want to just chill. I want to watch my show on YouTube. I want to have my popsicles. The best thing is, Bossy, dude, he probably wanted to chill. I was like, hell no, we're going. And must have got me. My thing is that never goes away, like working out, like, do you think I really want to do it? Part of the reason I do jiu-jitsu is because it's just hard. I just want to work out. It'll just get me awake. I'm just like, today I didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't feel good. I was like, heavy. And I knew, you just get in there, you start moving the frame around. The other thing about 58 there is it takes Daddy a little time, a lot of the mornings, to get the old frame and engine going. So, Joe, Daddy's gonna get on the old fucking bike. Then I gotta do my stupid stretches. Then I'll do a little EMOM. I'll do a little exercise. And then I'll do some push-ups. I have to. That's the warm-up. Wrestling practice, the warm-up's like, practice, cartwheels. If you see the Russians, they do that shit. They're pedantic. The teaser, he's like, the one thing I don't really enjoy is the warm-up. He's like, you don't warm up. He told you don't warm up. And I go, no, you don't want to be like me. Like, don't listen to me when it comes to I saw you spar. Well, I saw you do 2 stretches. You did half a lunge. You reached, and then you went in there and went full. Beat the shit out of you. But also, you know, I tell team, I'll see you beat the shit out of you. I'm like, don't listen to me for that. When it comes to technique, that's a fighting wrestling. I warm it up and doing what everybody else is doing, listening to them. So even when I say I practice, like, they're doing these snap dance and other shit. Bossy's position was off. It drives me nuts because he's so young. Like, I want to learn him right, otherwise it develops bad tendencies. So I kept going, Boss, you got it. And the coach comes over and goes, if you get your big ass over there and show him how to do it, that will freak out. He probably knows more wrestling than he this goddamn room. I said, I can go with you. Yes. Are you trying to like that? That's the best.
But you should be. You should be happy with all the kids.
Yeah, but you don't, and I love it, but you don't want to.
Why? You're happy with water. That's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of earned it.
Frosty loved it too.
Yeah.
Plus, other kid gets dope reps as well.
Yeah, dude, the difference in everything like that. So, like, when John Donaher teaches, right, it's not going to the students, bro, they go over. The reason that Gordon Ryan doesn't have any holes in his game is because they'll spend 3 months perfecting the minutia. Now, you have to have a lot of patience with that. Oh my God, versus wrestling, like the difference in the details, like those little details. Where's your elbow? What grip works? All that shit.
Usually, especially I've seen this in Tigers, all those times because they want to make it fun for the kid. Just choose that division. It takes a long time before it should be fun. Like, for kids in college, with the tennis, they gotta get going fast. Yes. My issues when they go from A to fucking S. They're like, that's right. I said all this in between. So that's like this dad asked me, he's like, my son, like, I'm trying to figure out what to do with him. Like, he's aggressive. I want to put him in jiu-jitsu and pro wrestling. And the thing is, we can put him in jiu-jitsu, especially in the last 10 years. Like, things that he brought up, like, jiu-jitsu's big. But if you have to pick one base for a kid to have instant fun and do something that's natural to him, it's wrestling. It's wrestling because there's technique, obviously, but a lot of it's pretty familiar. And they have brothers, like a lot of them, rough housing, stuff like that. They teach them, like, all right, you just put your hand over here.
It's just also a great base.
Morning of the best. Next thing up, UFC, getting all the champions, most of them wrestling in the streets. What do you can in the box, not in the takeaway, so you take them down. Yes. Yeah, they take you. It's literally the best thing. And as far as tough, like work ethic, like just, that's what I tell Tiger, like there's nothing better than wrestling as far as your mental game, especially for baseball and football. In jiu-jitsu, if I'm tired, I can pull guard, I can wrap you up. In wrestling, if you go backwards, you have to engage. You're going to get your wrist shooting. You get your wrist maybe like there's no way. That's why I love it. There's boxing is no easy way out. There's no drive. This is a scramble. Here's a scramble. There's a scramble. It's always a scramble. And I know I wonder why wrestling is, don't get me wrong, in certain states it's big. In Texas, there's some good wrestling. In California, there's some really good wrestling. Farming places. I just don't understand where did this disconnect come from, because wrestling should be so big as a foundation. I mean, they're so good at wrestling. Hear me out. And this champions, their shoes. Cool. Their shoes. Another kid, doing a field night. There's no key involved. Price is expensive. It's tough.
The reason it's not is because if you think about where wrestling is big, it's long winters. And winters, it's an indoor sport, right? So when you got like Texas and people on the outside playing ball, they want to be playing ball.
No, I'm not saying it's big as baseball. I'm saying, but then why is big just jiu-jitsu? You gotta be inside too.
So
it's like a surfing.
So look, if you look at Iowa, you look at Nebraska, you look at the place Ohio, you look at Russia. These are long winters, and in the long winter, as a farmer or whatever you're doing, you don't have. They're animals to tend to, but your crops and stuff. You have a lot of time. There's like if you're inside, you have to be inside. you're not playing things outside. Especially in areas I think about where there are no mountains, you ski in a great position, you got flat terrain, you got nothing. You ain't playing football during the low, but you're gonna wrestle outside. I think jiu-jitsu happened because Brazil, they have Gracie's, Helio Gracie was a genius. Just this incredible innovator. Skinny guy tapping people.
Why the recent last 10 years is
I know what.
it's more expensive than wrestling.
No, I know.
It takes more time to have fun. It's more expensive.
And with all due respect, it isn't as tough. And what I mean by it,
What's not as dumb?
so jiu-jitsu, meaning, wrestling, man, I promise you, you're going to get marked up. You're going to get, you're shooting singles and doubles. You're on your back. It's just, and it's explosive. It's explosive. With jiu-jitsu, you can start to learn how to do gently an arm bar, a triangle from your back. You can learn it's really easy to teach. Kids aren't getting injured. Kids, it's something that girls and boys can do together. Wrestling is a different beast. It just is. It's a different gear. It just is. There's no way to do wrestling without training hard, sucking weight. It's just different. It's a different mentality. It really is. You're not gonna. You can't be a passive wrestler.
That's why more people are drawn to.
Yeah, it's just, I'm sorry, but it's a little bit like the difference between Taekwondo or karate and Krav Maga and boxing. With boxing, if you really want to learn how to box, you have to get in a ring, the mouthpiece, and you're going to get hit in the guy's head. And learning how to avoid that, learning how to put your head on somebody's fucking grill when they're is so fucking hard. And the only way to do it, to get good at it, is to do it wrong for a long time. Get hit. And nobody wants to get hit. Because when you get hit, your jaw, your whole jaw, you get hit. No. It's literally a different, it's borderline not even a sport. Like it's a sport, but it's fighting. It's fighting.
That's why UFC is not a sport.
No, it's fighting. And fighting, if you want to get good at fighting, whether it's boxing, I put Muay Thai, I put boxing, I put K1 kickboxing, and I put those, and MMA, of course, those are what I call fighting. And they really do border on a different thing than sports, right? Because you're getting your head kicked in. There's always a possibility when you go train and you get good. There are big consequences.
Loss, baseball and everything. Fighting, the consequences are so heavy.
And even wrestling, I put below striking. And you pressure very hard on your body, but you're going to be fine. You're going to have a knee issue maybe, or you're not going to have this head trauma. Your ears are going to be, it's not going to be safe. It's a sport. It's a great sport, but it's a fucking tough sport. And I would equate it with football, actually, because don't kid yourself, football is also really fucking hard. It's hard. And if you're not built for it, even if you aren't,
society's going a little softer direction, so not as
no, it's just you can make more money. With jiu-jitsu, you make more money, right?
So I don't know if we're making a ton of money, but I see your point, there's more of a business.
Yeah, so you can stay with it.
But as far as just like, if you look at the way society, like men's testosterone is way down from the 80s. So initially, it's not a knock on anything, it's just shit. There's a million variables, but testosterone's down amongst men. So society softens. So as we see less kids playing football, like everyone's playing flag football, crazy footballs. So there's less sign-ups at football. There's less white man. I thought all the great athletes are going to do MMA. It's too tough, too male testosterone with it. That's down. And then overall, the last 20 years, I don't know what wrestling sign-ups look like, but I assume it's down. And football and this other tough shit's down. So it's just the evolution of this soft society.
Yeah, and the other thing about jiu-jitsu versus wrestling that's actually super important when it comes to running a business, there are no belts in wrestling. Look, let's take a break for a second. There's a company called Brunt, B-R-U-N-T, and I have their boots, all right? And what's crazy is, like a lot of times with real work boots, like hardcore boots, it takes you a long time to bring them in. If you're going hunting, you better wear your boots. way before you're going hunting, because otherwise you will get blisters. But the comforter fronts, the minute you put them on, they're incredibly comfortable. Like right out of the box. And in fact, Brett and I were just talking about that. Like, he was wearing them. I was like, dude, they are immediately comfortable, but durable. So a lot of times it's something's comfortable, it breaks down. But these things are durable. They got the, I got the Marin boot, and it's awesome. It checks every single box. Lightweight, waterproof, oil resistant, heat resistant. Apparently it's electric hazard rated. I don't know what that means because I don't work around electricity. But it is an amazing boot. Give it a shot. If you work outside, if you work hands, unlike me, or you want to look like you do, get a pair of Braun. They're just as comfortable as sneakers. I think there are 500,000 people, customers, talk about it. I don't know how many. Is that right? Is it 500,000 or is it 50,000? Look at that. 500,000 customers. That's a lot of customers. Damn. So they're doing something right. With temps dropping, the holidays coming up, time to treat yourself to the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. Find if you got a brother, you got a father, you got a boyfriend, you got a husband, get him these boots. He will love them. Skip the throwaway gifts. Get him something built to last. Brunt workwear. They don't just make boots. BRUNT. Fighter Kid listeners get $10 off their entire order. Code FIGHTER at checkout. That's BruntWorkwear.com. Use code FIGHTER. Order today. Let them know you heard it here on the show. It helps us. And there are belts in jiu-jitsu, and kids love belts. People love belts.
Popularity of wrestling is increasing, particularly in high school sports. Women too. Girls wrestling. It's not seen in years. The World Series for it's supposed to be a female athlete. It's not a high school sport for a girl. Daughters of a badass wrestler. Yeah. She did like a scholarship. Wow. Yeah, she got real bad.
Damn.
Overall, total high school wrestling participants. That's a regional record high for the first time in years. That's a fastest growing sport in high school alone. That's participation has rebounded to the 14 to 15 levels. So it's basically, I guess I said this on the customer house. High school participation is key. There's some sort of suggest that overall professionalism is demonstrating but still not been close. I said days ago, because other forms such as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are also experiencing that's even though it's increasing, wrestling is still always still a step child. Football players and baseball players, they get the attention. Wrestling is always a case of a redheaded stepchild. You know, it'll always be that sport that you know. Because there's nowhere to go. It's like your daughter doing cheerleading. You saw Foxcatcher. Oh yeah. And you got the Schultz brothers, the gold medalists and everything else. Not making sense for the life of the young coach. It's tough. But to your point, the value of being a D1 wrestler is when you go through a 4-year D1 program, you understand what work ethic is, and you understand how to accomplish something, and you're not afraid that everything's easy after that. Life is a lot easier after that. Oh, man, some of the biggest, richest dudes I know all have a high-level wrestling. Crush it. Yeah, if I'm in a big company and I'm looking at a resume and wrestling, I'm like, you work ethics be fucking nuts. That's it. You know, it's one of those things that just fucking it's way hard. Don't tell a tough wrestler that you should mental day off. NBA players like you be like, why is he on the game? It's a mental wrestling. What the fuck is that? Do they have that? Yeah. There's who take everything. Yeah. You think Kobe would ever do that? There's ever do that? I mean, that's Hector. That's what we're living with. That's his Hector. It's a Mo Miles, but see, it's what's in for you. It's just a different, we're in a different hole. Even if you
muscle more fucking sweet.
Are you sure you did wrestle in football?
Even if there's days that you're tired, you
I did. I was high level football. You ever seen Northern Colorado? 3 times a week. And I was with the team. Yeah, it's over 9 years. You're having practice with them. High level.
So I know
Great coach.
you gotta do the things you gotta do.
Yeah, great coach.
Sacrifice yourself.
Just to get you still
Much better and strong. Really.
Yeah.
I know start working. I know start getting great. I used to be homeless for 3.5 years. And
Wow, they're just tough.
I used to beg off the fucking street. At the end of the day, it's taught me how to become a better man. It's not
And then
everything.
you're like, fuck wrestling. I'm not going to
Are things to make you know. But I know that they
Oh, yeah.
still went up to the gym.
Get you installed.
And were you doing that in conjunction with jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Yeah, those 2-3 times a week. Jiu-jitsu, boxing, sparring. Just a full-time gig.
Your job knowledge can really help you.
Yeah, I guess you did.
You like that day, you drive on.
Did you hate sparring?
I mean, I'm nervous. But
I don't do that. I think that you know the big difference. That's part of that.
How often would those sparring sessions be as hard as wrestling?
once a week,
Give you opportunity.
Is that hard?
once a week for 10 days.
Twice a week, that hard?
You just didn't know what ruins your day. You just didn't know any better.
Fuck, man, it ruins your
We actually would sit in our cars and just sit there.
Are you serious? Your fucking head.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
What were we talking about? Maybe it was some shit. We were sitting there and just laughing.
Dude, I mean, I don't think people know how big Shane was. They just took it good. They took it good. I've never seen him play with that. He's just so easy to interview. And you guys would get in there and bang it out. And he's going to and just you got like and you just catching shots. So by the time you're in there with somebody else, you're like,
I think I'll be there for the years that fucking shit. Keeps everything else on Shane's. He said it's going to get guns. We have cheat over the days. Yeah, great days. I recall my girlfriend at the time was like, that's dope. Wrestling school with Warren. It's like 45 minutes from me. We had a night class at 9 o'clock at night. It's called Rhinos. And I break up with my girlfriend. I'm like, no, I'm going to be gone from the morning. I wake up till 11 o'clock at night. Now this new brother, I'm sure up and up.
I have a time for you. I have to roll with guys. And learn this bus.
That's what I was speaking low. All these other kids.
God damn. How long did it take you to get to deal with the
I got a
Now, look into it. If it's straight wrestling, there was this guy who was all American. He started on Harvard and he smells like 140 pounds. And he was not if it was straight wrestling, really brilliant.
It's hard to deal with this stuff. Take down.
Nightmare so fast. And then also wrestling, like remember you did like you would do the straight wrestling classes. I can understand all that, but a lot of that doesn't translate straight to MMA. So you have to kind of figure it out how it translates. That's where Eastern came.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was going to make us try to do it.
He was going to be like, you do this in a fight, you're not done. So you do this in a fight, you're catch me.
Really? How do you learn that?
He grew up wrestling. Like his dad was a wrestler. He was a wrestler. Monster fan. Yeah. Legacy of wrestling. His son's
But
wrestling.
how did he know to translate that from wrestling to getting knocked out?
He just knows because I think he fought once, but he trained a lot to his around him. So he knew certain things that would work, certain things that
Well,
would
that's
work.
the
That's
case.
why I like takedown defense is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the case with jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Like, if you see competition in jiu-jitsu, you go on your back with killing teams. That is very easy.
It's like the large stuff in the bottom of
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just a different game. But anti-wrestling, like takedown defense is much easier to pick up on than actual offense. So like Alex Peters' takedown defense is good, right? Jump wrestling. If you look at other like his because he's taking on wrestling pretty good. That's way easier to learn. It's easy to apply to your game than being off with the wrestling. That takes a long time.
Well, that's why I want to see this Makachev thing. I wonder if it's possible to get Makachev to stop him from closing his arms around your body.
Again, that is not possible. That's not the fight. That's going to happen. They're expecting
you're going to get taken down.
It's about the standing up. Get to the mat, standing up, and getting Makachev tired. So he's still going to be coming forward, getting down. But if JDM can't be insane shape like that, if he keeps standing up, and Makachev keeps slowing down, and then he's forced to strike with him for a minute. 2 minutes. JDM, as much as an advantage Makachev has on the ground, JDM has. So if that shoot, because he's not fucking raw. Makachev will slow down. So if he can get him to slow down, he's not everything explosive like raw. If he can get that to slow down a little bit, and then he shoots from further out, you pick it up and force him to strike, now you're talking.
It's a different thing too. It's like a different size consideration. It's a lot, because James, how big is he? He's talking about. He's a big.
They did like a lane face-off yesterday in front of the New York skyline. It's dark. He has a puffy jacket, so you can't really tell.
Well, Makachev's not small. It's really is 1.7 pound already. Okay. Man, Jack has no nose. He has no nose.
I'll find out straight. Because they've added a little more to it. Can we get some fighting guys? Did my mom shoot this? Oh, fuck, can you get in front of those guys? Get over there. What the fuck is this? What's up? What's up? JDM kept saying that someone asked him a question. What's going to happen with you, Mom? JDM's like, he's just too small. But then when you look at Makachev, they say he's too small. He's just too small. He won the fight. He's just too small. When you got together, they say Makachev's too small.
Well, let's see how you feel, Rich.
And that's the thing that's been going around too.
But you can't tell that muscular,
You can't tell, but he's pretty big. Yeah, he's not like small from like he's a big 55 or something.
Yeah, he's
a different animal though.
He's very strong. Neil Magny's like 6'3", and these guys are way bigger. Our boy, fucking Machado Dairy. No, Machado's 6'3". Yeah.
Those are all outliers, the majority of people themselves.
But Islam's got that grip strength here.
Let's take a little break here, B. Tell me about Rugiet. Your wiener problem.
Rugiet. R-U-G-I-E-T. Okay? Look, a lot of people have erectile dysfunction issues. A lot of men deal with it. It's not one or another. Okay? A lot of excuses.
I'm tired. I'm stressed.
Yeah, I got stress. It happens to everyone. Yeah, it affects about 30 million men. So you're definitely not alone. But your body needs support. That's probably what's going on. Rugiet can help. Rugiet, I should say, RUGIET.com. You can find fast-acting treatments prescribed by real doctors to resolve any excuses. Start making moves. Visit RUGIET.com/fire. Get 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/fire. Make ED a memory. Use code FIRE. And let's go.
UFC is really weird to see what happens with Islam and JDM. He's making a big moves.
What is that?
Islam's pretty heavy.
Yeah. What is JDM just started? It's a strict strike, right?
You gotta be careful with betting odds too, because they want to and also it's who's more popular. Islam's like JDM really. There's not a ton of unless you're a hardcore. We can't wait to see this fight. Yeah, but there's no shit talker, big time guy. This card, flight-wise, for me, is probably the best card of the year. As far as building the hype for casuals, getting into a lot of shit talk, there's literally more on Shevchenko with JDM is on it's just minus 25 and GUINNESS plus 230. That's gone downhill.
I just can't. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. He's a monster. Fucking monster. That's a lot to deal with, though, isn't it? Jiu-jitsu was. Because he's that guy, Joe. Of the straight jiu-jitsu. And I imagine that Rodolfo has not done much striking. This is going to be a grappling match.
Did you see there? You have that group that I say Jeff 13 said there's going to be way stricter repercussions for high fucking
Good. Are there?
Yeah. He said it's been around for a few years. They just never been like calling people out on it. Did you hear?
So we made a rule where it's a foul to extend the fingers towards the eyes. Right. So that's the rule we've already had in place, right? So that rule's been there, but we haven't been enforcing it. Yeah.
The guys are still doing it, even though you hear Herb and the guys saying, guys, fingers up, working. And people still just like this.
So we're going to move forward on that. We're actually going to, I think people would not have been used to seeing someone get a point taken, because most of the time when we take a point, it's more as reactive to the damage and the unbalance of the fight that's been done by foul. And that's the only way we can take the balance in. But this right here is a dangerous foul. Somebody's going to keep doing a dangerous action. It's going to get you points by them doing that action, before they're doing that action, before it actually happens.
Yes, I said it's been in place.
Yeah, let's start enforcing it. And I get it, because they don't want to stop the fight. They don't want to get everything. So if you start doing this, you're going to get stopped.
Yeah, they do. There was a time where they were on it, especially when John Jones, right? Where they just go, hey, keep the finger close, keep it close, and they would even stop it. But now I think because of the pressure from everybody, especially after Tom Aspinall, you're going to take it close. Which is what they should have done. UFC's not that ambitious. I don't see that. The UFC, when he wants, they're told to enforce it. They're not doing it. Right. I think they're saying, like, you can't do this, but you're supposed to do something like that.
Right. Well, if you want to cast shots, or like this shit,
a lot of times guys go back. You can't do shots. It's not natural. Right. They want you to close your fist. That's weird. You gotta take a point. You stop giving warnings. I mean, this one I think, they said, dude, that's a warning. If something happens, no warning. That's what they're doing now. They're not saying, there's not even poking, just doing this. Oh, if they don't poke, they're just doing this. Well, hey, dude, that's a warning.
spaces and shit. Any new developments from the card this Saturday? Same shit. Any other information on it?
Must be necessary.
You got tonight over you want to resend it?
There's going to be a few UFC fighters on that. He's nice. He's in a time where he's not trying to associate with it. I think for the next one, I'm moving on. Stephen Thompson, I think he was over there. Do you want to discuss the Sydney Sweeney stuff at all? What's going on with it? This is a little bit different. Wasn't the song like this at first? This is Ruby Rose. You know Ruby Rose, I said. She's openly gay. That's one of her actors. She was super popular for a while. She was super cute.
Oh, look, she's trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Ruby Rose hits out a great Sydney Sweeney over Christy Flock. Interesting.
Also, what's not, we gotta be careful, like, what
it's not a flop these days. I know. Like, if it's a Marvel movie, if it's a Disney, but it's just the way the world is just.
Ruby Rose, she accuses her of having no connection with the character.
She's kind of like upset. First of all, Ruby Rose was supposed to play Christy's girlfriend, right? And I guess she's not a part of the movie at all. And she doesn't like the fact that Sydney is not gay. And she's pretending to be one of us, kind of thing. If that makes sense.
I mean, I thought the old saying in Hollywood is nobody wants to see Sydney Sweeney as an ugly, like, or I'm sorry, but just as somebody who plays a boxer. They don't want to see that. Okay? That's for a different kind of actress. That's not how she makes money. They want to see her the way they want to see her. Right? And that's as old as time. Like, you're typecast, you're not getting out of that. Try to step out of that. Johnny Depp, when he stepped out of a lot of his roles, made no money with his movies. None. But they want to see his chest. Right?
It's this freaking people are talking about it for movies there. Sydney Sweeney did it for people. People want to see somebody who hates them parade around pretending to be us. Like over here, so Sweeney game. People are mad at her for people say, well, she has mentioned this is a narcissist. All this is she's jealous. She's not in the movie. They have fucked for years. Your attention.
This is very common. Well, it's also very common among wealthy white women, educated women. They're exercising their clout in politics, and they are primarily very left. They're very intolerant. They don't promote freedom of speech. They believe in speech codes. And yet, this Ruby Rose, this is a classic example of this. There are a lot of women like this. A lot. For example, in Donnie's employee and surrounding him. This is very common.
It's like the social jokes and Steve it's like, yeah, it's all
I just love seeing Sydney Sweeney. All right, whatever you have to give us your point of Another actress who thinks that they have a point of view like it's shut up.
No single brain, because this episode of Podcast is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Your boy has been there 3 times this week. I was looking for high temperature paint to paint an intake manifold of my Jeep 392 I got from Holly. It's the high ram. It was going to fit. Wanted to do a custom color, so I was like, does O'Reilly have this stuff? And you bet your sweet tartan ass, they have it all. I need a special spec gold. They have that. They have so many colors in stock. I've been there twice. I keep picking up this gold paint. It's hard to find. They have it. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and parts knowledge for all your maintenance and repairs. I'm telling you, I get random stuff all the time from O'Reilly. There's one at 10 minutes from the crib. I'm always up there. They know me by name now. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock. You can in-store online, so you don't have to wait for you to jam. I had to order like 5 things. This was 5 cans of this paint because they only have 4. I needed a ton of it. Dude, I got it picked up today. They have it all. So if you're a rookie or a car expert, you'll realize that points that O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, best friendly. They should be annoyed by me because I have a million questions. I need a million random stuff that they always help me out, right? So stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today. Visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/fighter. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/fighter.
This November, action is free on Pluto TV. Go on the run with Jack Reacher. Suspect was drinking and then buckle up for Drive. World War Z. You make me say, and Charlie's Angels.
Never hate to lie.
Launch into sci-fi adventure with the Fifth Element and walk through the mayhem in Tropic Thunder.
What is going on here?
All the thrills, all for free. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
I'll pop that too, because
is they pioneer this movement. Greek is it's the agenda for big box office. So you didn't see a lot of promotion at all.
She just wanted to put this character. She was so attached to Christy.
You didn't see much promotion at all. I got it. It came out this weekend. Awesome. Nobody's going to theater. It's just a thing in the past. Like, I feel that's what it's like. Right? It's so backwards.
This is based off of this interview that Christy recently did with GQ magazine.
Look at all these virtue signaling assholes.
Yeah, that's and Zendaya.
Oh, okay. I'm just jealous. Like obviously Sydney's bomb good right now. These girls are like trying to find their way in.
Yeah. That one right there says that.
She's like a singer.
That's his favorite. What are they saying so I can eat them?
It's not even them saying stuff. It's more like, let me play this clip first. This is the GQ
She's like, you want to apologize? She's like, we're going to use it. So then, some guy not agreeing with her politics, right?
Basically, City City's hiding out and hear about Zendaya's politics.
Just because she didn't answer anything to defend against that politics and these people are kind of turning around.
There's an opportunity. Like, just looking for an opportunity to jump in.
They're talking about genetics. They're saying like white people. It's so stupid. They're making it seem like cities when they say that white people are genetically.
Last week, she did a chaotic interview with GQ where she was asked about the backlash she faced after the controversial announcement. Her dismissive response went viral, and people were confused that she didn't jump the opportunity to distance herself.
It's been reported that they have refused to be in Euphoria press with her. Oh no, what are they gonna do? It's a difficult position for Sydney to be in because if she even stands next to Sydney on the red carpet, it's basically her agreeing with abuse on Trump and refusing to apologize for a racist act. Really? Or she's just standing next to her co-star.
Immediately, I also made her pretty clear by commenting a throwing other emoji under the GQ. She also liked the video of content creator Jupiter, which called out Sydney's behavior and said she really just did not. Actor Rabbi Rose just pitched to the It looks like Sydney's face here at that that's his catching up to her. As Christy is set to be the Fox Others flop of the year.
You are such an ass. Look how much American Eagle paid her.
They're such fucking assholes. These actresses suck. They're just way off the people or they vote. It's all about them.
Making a Steve feels money, not like he is now. It feels like one hand man. So Sydney's stock was up 23%.
When I was 12 years old, a girl
Something else like that kid, and she didn't go for me. It just said, remember, you mentioned something about this.
I'm just so done with Hollywood. I'm so done with actresses. I'm so done with Hollywood's musicians. I'm so done with all of their virtue signaling, all of their hypocrisy, all of their just narcissistic behavior. It's just an awful place. And you can bet they will jump on whatever gets them attention.
Whatever the trend is, they
Never underestimate the college. I can just see it. Like,
She's slurs against the 5-year-old black kid. Yeah, that's kind of like a lot of racists out there.
Yeah, there are people. There are people who just are. Yeah, they're all racists. That's true.
I don't think you guys care about this, right? Yeah. And as we talk to China, oh shit, it's wrestling.
That's what?
It's in wrestling.
Mentality that's shredded. This trigger and cheese is out like a fucking beast.
Yeah, that is really
good. These poor numbers. So you guys have not joined the fuck is going on with that? Jesus Christ.
Alright, have you guys been following this at all? The Jeremy Renner and some director, some Chinese director.
Yeah.
What's going on? She's this Marvel star, Jeremy Renner, accused of threatening to call eyes on Chinese film. Yeah. So this Chinese director and him worked on 2 projects together. And the first time they met, they had a consensual brief encounter, right? Basically. After that, they met one more time to work on some film stuff, and then he apparently didn't want to have any kind of relationship with her, and that's when she started flipping out. And then she says, he's been sending her she's saying, she's claiming he's been sending her dick pics, and then one day later, he had this restriction wine that started getting crazy and loud, so she walked herself into a bathroom and started messaging her friends like he's crazy, he drank a whole bottle of wine by himself. And then she started posting it, and she takes these pictures. Right? Like he's around here is where he's supposed to be hanging out with her, yelling, they were dating. Well, that's what she says. And these are alleged texts. She's putting him on blast. She put on her Instagram. She literally put a bunch of stuff on Instagram about Jeremy. Hashtag me too, Jeremy Renner, this and that. So there's a lot to this. That's exactly what I think. And then she was playing that when they got an argument. He said, "You're to calm down, I'm going to pull you to ice." And she didn't think about that. That's right. She's saying it literally. He didn't know what she did. Not a joke.
You put a dude on blast like that. Who was that one girl who she was in Crazy Rich Asians?
The one that was on Fresh on the
He was kind of great.
Oh, no, I'm not.
It was like, the way she told the story, it's like that guy. You had sex with him. You said the king. And then you were like, but you know, he raped me. People were like, what? I heard a story was she has more sense. She was one of the, she was complaining that her show got picked up. And how mad she was.
That's one of her posts. She did a bunch of them.
Wow.
So Jeremy Renner's team, obviously, as it says here, even vehemently denies anything like that. And then they talked about some of the stuff that she sent in. And one of them was something about how badly she wants them inside her.
Oh, yeah. There's another side to this story.
I'm sure they're cool.
She sounds like a big asshole.
It's okay what she said. That's the thing. Another thing she does is she sends these like potential things that are proof, but then she blocks out all these things. The high sleep she doesn't block out.
Well, she was happy. There's gas.
She also get taken down.
Go to hell. I'll make you you use all apps to send dick pics. No one said anything. So
And then she cuts it off your English with this one.
and here's what I got to find out.
She has these weird pictures of just yeah, it sounds like it just didn't work out.
Well, my issue is that my issue is the woman can do all the damage, the man gets all the damage. It's totally, there's no way to fight this. If you have a crazy fucker,
Guilty.
if you have a crazy bitch though, if you have a crazy fucking human being, they can just say anything about you. It used to be that way. Now it's like,
This is one of the texts that's still out.
I wanted to say about this, so about the fucking man and another section had requested to play with characters, fake giant thing. Well, she thought about his real giant.
It sounds like they were looking it up and it went south. Move on.
She's decided
But she's going to use this as a weaponized thing now that he's
what kind of argument says she
they're working on the documentary together. The answer's nothing good.
So she's a failed filmmaker, and she's a shit. You don't want to keep on the page.
This is nothing. They were hooking up. It didn't work out. She's like, fuck you. He's like, fuck you. He texts me this. She texts me this.
He's supposed to get her.
Yeah, I think they hooked up once. She wanted to be with him. She fell in love. He didn't want to be with her. Yeah, she played in a Disney fairy tale. Which I read and reached out to me and pursued me. I thought until recently, love was very wrong. His active made him a big person. So I'll click on this. You'll see how crazy all this shit is. Oh, I'm out. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy.
Everybody cares.
I want German Renner side. Oh, you're crazy.
She's asking any similar stories, thoughts, and your receipts on DM.
So she's out of her mind. That's what I just want to show you.
Looking back, she's just making her a job.
She has 1.8 million followers.
She sounds pretty awful.
Oh God, the entire post is about how she can't move on. Yeah, she's crazy.
She looks happy.
It's something that I don't know how legit these people are, but they seem to be some.
This is so depressing.
Cosmetic child team to grow like that. And they're looking at that stuff that we've been noticing.
It's filler.
This is on the cheeks.
So I went to
players who I know what we're talking about. That's not masculine. That's the problem. What's the trend, right? Like you're all doing this.
So when I went to get my they were like, well, everybody gets filler. You have to get filler. I was like, I'm not getting filler because that's
God, I wish you did.
and there's not a shot. But like they were showing me, they were saying how everyone.
But it looks like shit. Everyone looks like crazy.
Now you can do filler apparently works really some, but this cheek shit, that is ridiculous. Look at his hair. I mean, they look terrible.
Some of this might be messed with, but I think that's messed with. They don't look cute. I think so, yeah, they're exactly like cute.
Are we being gamed? Try to find some people who don't have films. Yeah. And
I think so, that's AI.
I would just say, we don't need that.
Those are so photoshopped that we're looking So follow me, DM me, let's talk, let's grow together because I love working with communities. I love working with people and I'm hardworking. Let's build ourselves. Let's just we grow together.
Because the doctor tells you, the doctor says when you get older, they go,
thank you.
So see how, see how we can just make this really subtle, just make it look a little bit like you just have a little more rest. And you're like, okay, then you get that, and you dress a little something that it does look like you have nothing. Yeah, why would you look puffy? Because you don't know. Somebody finds out Bradley's face. Seems like handsome. I see Bradley. Bradley's the worst. Like, dude, why would you do that?
Yeah, but I wonder.
He's not masculine. It's such a feminine look. He looks like a crazy bird. Still getting Botox on the forehead. It's all good to have wrinkles, baby. Hey, Brian, you don't give a fuck. I feel great right here. Of course, he's younger. Super younger. So he's slowly transitioning. I just don't get the feel of Botox? Let's not talk about Bradley. Let's talk about the other guys. Look at Ryan. Let's talk about Ryan. Bringing the energy to show up. The thing is, these guys don't have Instagram. What gives you that inspiration to be happy? You want to join every time. I got one life. Being I know because of me. He doesn't give me the opportunity to meet people like you, Jacob, and did it on this. Because having that connection to speak just like you has really appreciated our faces. I know they make me as a brand also, making my speech, making my voice. Basically, you see me about my person, and that's why I keep it in space. So I enjoy it. And I just enjoy myself. I enjoy listening. And with eyes, and I got doubts my knowledge. I'm learning every day. You guys are always doing things. I had that to my own skills. I use that when I go to spaces and myself. So it's just the energy I bring is just because that's bringing that energy makes me smile and happy and hyped up. If I can do that, I'm going to do that every single day, every single time, every single second. I can't put that smile on everybody's face. Basically, that's there. I don't waste time. So thank you. Is this AI check? Legit. She won. She's also any crypto involved. And everything you need in crypto world is consistency. That's actually I never give in three. Just three things that help you achieve what you want. She has this man for never giving up. Did you want to do drugs? If you have some crazy ones, believe in God, bro. Build up yourself. Do the right things. I mean, she put the right people to follow. You know, sometimes the right things to be a part of. She's gorgeous. People, they're going to be best team. They see all the like the big step up. This guy is not the best. Don't start to fail because like, never give up on your dreams as well. Don't have the dreams, achieve them when you get to make crazy money, never give up because stay believe in God and always be hardworking. Jesus. I appreciate that, man, and I think that advice to everyone that's new to crypto or sister up, I think it's best to learn from each other advices. I know I always was this deep shit spilled out, but I see more official things that she wants not to. I know he wants to know if she wants to know. Is this one of the reasons why she wants that problem? Because she wake up and she wants to know the right place. It's 2 minutes because she can do that. Yeah, for a lifetime. Oh, yeah. Just semifinals. We're all the way through during the contest semifinals. You know, she won half. Life is good. The longer life is going to get to you. These devices in your life will help you one day for yourself to look back. She's gorgeous. I can forget this. I'm glad to be even for me, I'm like basically 5 years old. Have you guys seen this as well? Yeah, this always makes me sad. I love Leslie and love Tony. I just don't know what to say about it. It just bums me out.
Okay, I'll just play it.
Especially when I'm like, I just don't.
Yeah, it's not shit.
What's something that people think is comedy that you think is not?
Oh, shocking. I hate shocking. I hate people that say things because they want to shock you into laughing. That's not funny, and it never lasts. It never lasts. They're being creative. They're right material. Shock material is just dumb. Like the Tommy Hinchcliffe's, and I'll say it, because fuck that bitch ass bitch. Your fucking mustache make you look like a Puerto Rican porn star. Go fuck yourself, you little dancing bitch. And go get your herpes taken care of. Anyway, cut that out.
On something.
You guys know if Tony watches your show?
Yeah, I just think
As cool as I did talking to the kid, I know Tony gets my podcast responding with just a bunch of because we posted it.
yeah, Tony, like I've said this, Tony is the guy who came along and had the balls to say things when comics were getting in trouble and canceled for it, and they tried to cancel him twice for things. And he just, there's probably nobody who does more to get young comics out there. He created this thing called Kill Tony, never missed a Monday in 13 fucking years. Nobody works harder and more consistently. So I can't say anything. I don't get it. When I see comics that I know who I like going bad on each other, I just find myself shaking my head. I'm just like, no.
The reason she's going back to Tony is because it's like serious. Because no one hated Tony. It's just doing it.
My thing is, it's also fine to just not like somebody's comedy or not like what they're doing or not like shock comedy. I get it. But I think sometimes it's I guess I don't know that we need to go back to each other.
Yeah, there's some anger there. Yeah, she seemed really emotional. There's some anger, jealousy. I don't know. There must be something that comes to the territory.
Yeah, I don't know the story behind it.
Yeah, it comes to the territory. Success comes trolls. I think Tony will be okay.
Guys, True Classic. Oh wait, look, I'm wearing a True Classic T-shirt under this. I've always got something True Classic. It's amazing to me that these clothes are always like I wash a T-shirt from True Classic. I don't know 100 times, and it just stays the same. So it's one of those places that they got everything right. And I was talking to the creator, the founder. It's like, quality and cut and paying attention to every detail is how you build value, which is why they keep building. There's so many companies that are just about hyping about it, and then you get a company that's like religion is value but quality. And that's what I think sets them apart. That's why I think they just keep getting bigger and bigger. They're crushing. And the reason they're crushing has nothing to do with their advertising. It's because when you wear their clothing, you go, this is kind of all I need. That's my go-to T-shirt. That's my go-to jacket. Those are my go-to jeans. What's going on here? Well, what's going on there is it's just great quality, and it always looks good. It's like you don't wash it 5 times and it turns into crap. And it's just classic fits that makes you look better. So that's kind of the way I would describe it. Go to Target, go to Costco, go to TrueClassic.com, put in promo code FIGHTER, and get hooked up. And I promise you, you will not be sorry. It's kind of the only place you can go for classic, good-looking fit. They never disappoint. They always have cool stuff. I was literally just on the website the other day because I was like, maybe I'll do some like shopping for now they have women's clothing, they got kids' clothing. They're just expanding. So I can't recommend them enough, man. Even getting your dad or your brother like a pack of long sleeve short sleeve t-shirts, trust me. It'll go a long way. Double up. So, /fighter or target custom.
I will take a little break because this one is exciting.
Oh man, I was just choking. And
Just like most companies,
I choked so hard my legs hurt. Like badly.
is having an absolutely insane Black Friday sale.
Ow.
58% off their mental performance shots, and you can also get free supply of their sleep shots. I use both every freaking day.
Every.
Whether I'm doing a podcast,
Every.
car stuff,
Every.
TV stuff,
It's every.
whatever it is,
Every.
I am fueled by Magic Mind Max, Magic Mind Sleep, Magic Mind Original. They have it all. This is by far the biggest sale they've ever put on. It's Black Friday. It's starting. It's 58% off. This is a one-off thing. I've never seen them do this before. Jump in, join the Magic Mind movement. There's nothing better for your mental performance, mental clarity, and energy all throughout the day. It's not like caffeine where you have some crash and it doesn't last long. This will really last you all freaking day. So if you're busy with kids' sports, work, your own workouts, this is what you need to put in your body to achieve the high-level stuff you're trying to get done throughout your day. It's Magic Mind. It's Black Friday. 50% off. 58% off. Get you some. The hell is this? Don't worry about that. That's just like an ad. But it says Build Bell. This is probably their segment.
Well, it's sad. Sorry if I make disgusting stuff, but I'm late. Well, that's normal in this Satoshi space to make some weird joints. I didn't dare say anything. I didn't want to respond. Well, I'm really enjoying it. I'm very glad to do it together. Yeah, I don't know if you might. I don't know if what's his account? His account because what's more in the account? Couldn't find it the other day. There was Go ahead, babe.
When possible, do you mind if I share my project with you? Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Rabbi Rothschild. If you don't know who I am, you will. I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for world peace. I've been doing so for more than 4 years. My streams go back to the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. This is a real-life Truman Show, a real-life Big Brother. This is a time capsule or a timeline of human achievement. In the 1990s, Bill Gates coined the phrase content is king, and I'm making it true today. I'm king of the internet. This is the biggest event in global history, and this is why. In 2018, The Economist magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's number one resource. And I have more data archived on the internet than any person ever, which is making me a very influential person. And when I go viral, I want to make you, your friends, your family, all independently wealthy if you're not already. I want to make sure that you have generational wealth if you don't already. And I want to make sure that you can start charities and philanthropic organizations of your own. I'm unlike any influencer on the internet. I'm not live on one YouTube stream nor two. I'm live on over 20 simultaneous YouTube streams. If you look at my pinned post, you can find a link to all my YouTube streams. You can see me live sharing this with you in over 20 streams in 360 degrees. I even have a ceiling cam. In that pinned post, you can also find my link tree. I dare you to look at my link tree. Nobody else is going to dare you to look at their social media, but I dare you to. I have so much social media, it would spend you years just going through some of my accounts. Additionally, you can find a link to my Discord there. where I'm live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years, willing to help you with anything that you need. Additionally, I am an advocate for ending world hunger through the use of technology such as agricultural drones, floating greenhouses, saltwater greenhouses, hydroponics, vertical farming, cloud seeding. I'm an advocate for ending world thirst. I'm sponsored by a cryptocurrency that's worth about $100 million. And one of the things that we do is we build wells in developing nations such as Nigeria for the benefit of the less fortunate. Additionally, I'm an advocate for the LifeStar program and most importantly, desalination technology, where we pump Earth's seawater onto land to make it drinkable. If you're a reply guy, if you're a Web3 marketer, if you're someone who wants more business, I suggest you join my Discord. I'm willing to help you. I'm here to be a coach. I'm here to be a mentor. I'm here to be a friend, all for free. I'll never charge you for my services. I want you to know that I just want you to be able to make more money. Most importantly, though, I want you to know that I'm here to support you both professionally and personally. I'm here to be a positive influence in your life. I'm here to have an optimistic view on the future. And most importantly, I want to give people hope. And with that, I want to sincerely thank you for the opportunity to share.
No, thank you. Rabbi,
Go ahead.
sorry, I've heard this speech already on one of the other spaces. Do you record that speech or do you repeat this every single time? Just
100%. I've been doing it for 4 years. So every time it's new, I've got it down. I'm not reading it. I've never written it down. It is as organic as it can get. I sometimes add things to it depending on the amount of time that I have. Some spaces will give you 30 seconds. Some spaces it's a minute, sometimes 2 or 3 minutes. So depending on how much opportunity I have more to it that I can add or remove.
okay, well, yeah, feel free. You have more time if you want to go deeper into something. I was just really curious because just to repeat something like this, that's not easy, I think.
Well, thank you. I would love to tell you more about what I do. So I am someone who wants to focus the world on that which unites us. We're 99.9% the same DNA. And I'd like to avoid those topics that keep us divided because really we're almost exactly all the same. So I like to talk about futurism. I'm a futurist. I like to talk about subjects such as anti-gravity, antimatter, faster than light travel, faster than light communication, things like artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence, space tourism, space elevators, terraforming of other planets, things like interstellar travel, things like Santa Claus machines and invisibility cloaks, even things like de-extinction. People don't know this, but the first successful de-extinction took place in the year 2003 with the Pyrenean ibex, which was a goat located in northern Spain, southern France. Fast forward to the year 2021, a company out of Dallas, Texas is founded, known as Colossal Bioscientific. They've made it their goal that within the next 3 years to reintroduce the woolly mammoth into the Arctic Circle, utilizing Asian elephant surrogates. I just think this is a mind-blowing goal, and I'm excited to be able to document it. Following the reintroduction of the woolly mammoth, they want to reintroduce the Tasmanian tiger, followed by the dodo bird, which I think will be very exciting for the world to be able to witness. Additionally, I like to talk about life extension. When you all were born, the average life expectancy for you or someone like you was probably about age 80 years old. And if you want, with your consent, I want to be able to provide you the opportunity at things like oxygen therapy, human growth hormones, stem cells, cryonics, cryogenics, nootropics, things like perhaps cold shock therapy, red light therapy, ambrosia therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, peptides, in order to get you to be past 100, 120 years old. But at 120 years old, you may say, Rabbi, my body's starting to break down. Everything that you said came true. It sounded like science fiction back in 2025, but it's become science fact. What's the next plan? And again, this is all with your consent. If you don't want this, you don't have to have it. But there are those of us who at least want to have all the opportunities to be considered. And one of them may be mind uploading technology, which is where we scan your brain into a computer like a CAT scan or an MRI, knowing where every atom is in your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system, for later download as an android, an avatar, a cyborg, a cybernetic being, a clone of yourself, a robot, an ethereal being, whatever you want to be. But essentially, what I'm saying to you is there may be an opportunity at digital immortality.
I like that. I like it. To be honest, I think majority of us here likes those topics, and especially conspiracy theories. So, I'm here. I mean, 120 years old. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. Depends how I feel it. I can't wait for it to be over. Yeah, so. I can send.
And that's the key. There are some of us who don't want to live that long, and I completely understand that. You should be able to live as long as you want, and when you're done, you're done. But there are those of us who at least maybe want to consider what the alternatives are. And though that's the transhumanist movement, it's growing. And while I may not be on one side or the other of the fence, I like to know all my options before making a decision.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. I'd definitely maybe swing towards the whole 120 years vibe. So, I'm up for that. So, yeah, I like it. I like the whole transhumanism.
That's correct.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't looked into too much about that. I feel like we live in a planet where, well, especially now where everybody tries to poison you, it's kind of hard. I don't know, I feel like the body's already heavily poisoned, so I think you'd have to kind of clean that up somehow first. But, I like the idea.
And that's possible. There are reverse aging therapies, techniques, and essentially nutrients that could perhaps what is called in almost Hollywood terms, Benjamin buttoning yourself, where you actually age in reverse. That may be an opportunity. More likely, we'll be able to at least slow down or even come close to pausing aging. So I'm sure you've seen celebrities who have access to the latest and greatest technologies, and what or that isn't that that is certainly a discussion that people have. But essentially, even a just regular person or celebrity from a generation or two ago does not look the same as someone of the same age today. And many of these anti-aging properties, many of these anti-aging therapies are allowing people to slow down aging. And in terms of adrenochrome, really, I am someone who wants to be able to find perhaps a synthetic potentiality. No, I know you don't. I know you don't. And so things like epinephrine, which is adrenaline, they're the same thing. They have been able, at least pharmaceutical companies have been able to create synthetic versions of this, and I'm an advocate for its use if it can reverse or slow aging, but in no way do I want anyone else to get hurt.
Well, I think that sounds like a fantastic utility. So, my interest. So, Rothschild, I'm going to say, I've had a small and what you said, look at your link tree. Your link tree isn't linked, your YouTube is linked. It's kind of, it's a little bit hard, so I don't know why you don't have your link tree. Your YouTube will show you.
Hold on, Satoshi. Hold on, Satoshi. If you look at my pinned post, my link tree's there. Additionally, you should see where it says my location. There's a link to the link tree. I just put the link tree in my location. So not only do you have my YouTube there, but then there's my link tree link as well. So feel free to take a look at it. It's massive, and that's not nearly as all my social medias. I've had some accounts suspended on there. I've got to clean it up a little bit, but everything that you see on there is just a tremendous amount of data. I have over 100 YouTube accounts, over 200 Instagram accounts, 500 Twitch accounts, 1,000 TikTok accounts, 2,000 Twitter accounts, 5,000 Blue Sky accounts, and 10,000 Kick accounts. I have more social media than any person ever.
That's crazy. How many
Yeah, so I did that in the beginning, more than 4 years ago. I focused on one, but what eventually happens, and it will happen to you if you are online enough. So, for instance, on Twitter, this was before Elon Musk bought Twitter, and you can get banned for so many different things: inauthentic accounts, spam, uh, following too many people at once, or following people back. And I had over 10,000 followers on Twitter when I first had my account. And when something like that happens, and you go into one of these spaces, and if it's a large enough space, you'll have 60, 70 people who send you a follow. And it's been my my kind of what I do is I just follow people back immediately, and that can be seen as an authentic account building. And so you'll get, you know, perhaps have to verify your email a few times or whatever. But eventually, if it happens enough, you will log into your account and it will say check mark. I went to the Twitter police or whatever, the Twitter the people who do the make the decisions at Twitter, and I, written letters, done everything aside from suing them to get my account back. And when they refuse to give it back to you, then you just take things in your own hands and you create more accounts.
So I guess you've been suspended because you're kind of a whistleblower, right? So you kind of, well, nowadays probably exists different, so you wouldn't be suspended for the things you said. But back in the day when it was Twitter, they kind of didn't like your narrative, if you know what I mean.
That's exactly right. Under Jack Dorsey, it was a different regime, so to speak, and they maybe thought that I was a little bit of a threat. Maybe they didn't like the way that I used the platform. They don't really give you really good guidelines. They don't say you can only follow X amount of people per day. If you choose to exceed that, you may be banned. They don't say that to you. You're dealing blind on social media, and I wish they did tell you that. I wish they would say you have 10 more people that you can follow today, or 4 more people that you can follow today. There aren't any guidelines like that. And and if you are a big enough account, then you can reach out to your management company and have them unsuspend your account. But if you're just a normal person, perhaps without those types of connections, or you don't want to utilize them, you're done. You have to then create a new account. And, this is an account for which I was paying them. If you know Twitter, it was originally Twitter Blue, and it was $1 a month when it first started, and it was only like that for a few months, and they raised it and they kept raising it. But I was an early adopter of Twitter Blue, and so I've been paying them since you basically could be paying them. I wanted to pay them. There were some features like, at the time, the only one that they really offered that was of any use was the ability to edit your tweets, but at least that was something. Now they have more things about how they will boost your profile and things like that. But at the time, they did not offer any of that. And even still, I had my account verified, blue check mark, tens of thousands of followers. And that's how I did it in the beginning. I did the same with YouTube. I did the same with my other social media platforms. Now they haven't all been banned. I have over 10,000 followers on Instagram, 50,000 followers on Twitch. So fortunately, I do have some of my stronger accounts, but at least on Twitter, if you get knocked down, then you have no choice to create a new account and try to get back up again. So that's what I've been doing. A lot of people know me on the Twitter spaces because they've heard me over the course of some years. But if you're wondering, why is your account so small? That's why.
Well, now you've got some interesting points there about obviously social media. They don't give you any guidelines. Like they definitely don't, and it's hard for accounts to approach it with no guidelines. They don't give you any guidelines. I don't know if that's an interesting question. Like why don't they? Because all accounts, and they change. The annoying thing as well is that all the algorithms, the policies are different across all accounts, so you can't collectively grow across social media without investing, a lifetime worth of time to understand each and every one. So, you might have the best intentions, you might have the best content, you might have this, you might have that, you might be the best speaker, you might be whatever it is. But you waste so much time trying to please the algorithm, please this platform that keeps changing as well. They're forever updating, they're forever changing. So like that is a really important just create or read somebody who's got something they want to say or a community they want to build. Waste so much time by not knowing the rules and having to experiment, see what works, change it, find out so it didn't work. That's harm. Your reach, that's harm. Your algorithm, that's harm. This, that, and the other. So it's kind of, I do understand that it's annoying because you look at accounts that have it searched or, a lot of the time you don't understand that they have a management team behind them that, you can go on TikTok, you can be like, how does this guy get 1 million views or 30 million views? And, a lot of the time, those people likely have, media behind them or they fully understand what's going on, so they're not wasting their time, whereas us people, trying to figure it out. It does take time. I personally, I'm somebody who's just keep trying with things, see what works, see what doesn't work, being persistent because I know like 99% of people don't want the keys, don't want the answers, so your only option is to try and work it out, which is life in general, isn't it?
You're exactly right. The state of Florida at one time wanted to make the practice of shadow banning illegal, and it should be illegal. It's an anti-competitive practice that these social media platforms use to be able to silence creators and views of thought that they don't like. And basically, these social media platforms have become like utilities. It takes so much money to be able to start one and to be able to manage one that your average person cannot do it. And thus, we are at the whims of these major corporations to be able to um, live in their world and their ecosystems and their practices. And even though they're private corporations, they get a lot of public benefits as well. And even I know, and I'm sure you, I don't really say anything wrong. I don't get into politics, and I don't, even though I'm a rabbi, I don't get into religion. I get into futurism and those types of discussions, which really aren't that, aren't to most people, aren't seen as something that should be shadow banned. As you know, your views can get cut overnight. I know that there was one creator who Elon Musk reached out to have a child with her, and she said no when many other of these big female creators accepted and have had children with him. And overnight, she saw her impressions drop. She lost her blue check mark for some period of time. To me, these are should be illegal practices, frankly, and the SEC, the FCC, they should be involved with this. They're not. I think it's unfortunate that these types of practices are not more regulated, but that's the way it is, and you have to play ball the way that they want. So the way that I get around that is by creating so many accounts. If you want to ban my YouTube accounts, it doesn't hurt me at all. I've had so many YouTube accounts banned I can't count. And so what I do is I'm live on 20 different YouTube accounts. Basically, I have backups and backups of my backups, some that aren't even linked to me. So I have redundant streams going so that my data is archived across the entire web. In terms of Twitter Spaces, if you want to ban this account or someone wants to ban this account, that's absolutely fine. My words will echo after my account has been banned, and I can create another account, get in a Twitter Space, and I'll get all those follows back. I have no doubt about that. But the thing is, people remember what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, I know this person. The other person live streams their life. That's a hard thing to forget. So little by little, I'm starting to break through. And I know it's just a matter of time until the right person hears what I have to say. They say, you know what? This person says they're not just going to make me a millionaire nor a billionaire, but a trillionaire. Perhaps someday I'm going to give them a repost, or I'm going to take a look at what they do. And when I say a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, as you know, we're having, starting to have the first trillionaires. But when I was a kid, the goal was to become a millionaire if you weren't already. And now it's basically to become a billionaire if you're not already. And in the next generation, it'll be a trillionaire. Inflation is a terrible, terrible thing. It's a hidden tax on consumers and on citizenries. And so when I say that I want to make you rich beyond your greatest dreams, that's how I want to do it. But when people hear the term trillionaire, they think that that's out of reach. When in reality, in a generation or two, that'll be the norm for what people consider to be extremely wealthy.
I have a small question, just about eggs in general. What's your take on eggs since you took it over? Do you think it was positive and as groundbreaking as he made it, or do you have different take on it?
Excellent question. So when he first purchased it, I believe it was something around November 2023, perhaps. He brought back a lot of people who had been completely banned for years. I thought that was really great. He didn't bring back my account, but that's okay. I understand that. But what I have not been satisfied with in the least is the lack of development of the app. Twitter Spaces are still held. People run into issues of having to do the CAPTCHA or the ARCOS challenge constantly and having to verify their email constantly. Those types of issues, I think, could be improved. Additionally, you just have asymmetric uses or asymmetric experiences of a user. So, for instance, on the iOS platform, you can do video Twitter Spaces. You have been able to since like February of 2024, which is nice. But you still can't do that on Android to this day. Why is that? Why don't you have your apps match? Why can't you do the same thing on an Android device as you can on an iOS device as you can on your desktop? That would only make sense. He spent $44 billion on this, and even he's the one who said it wasn't worth $20 billion when he purchased it. He basically purchased it to try to give back some free speech to people, and I think that he did a good job of giving people, to some extent, their voice. But at this point, I think he's focused on things that perhaps are they're important. Grok is great, and Grokopedia, that's great. But when you have such a large kingdom as he does of people who you can in whom you can invest, you have to invest in these developers. His developer team is a joke, and even more of a joke is his support team. It's basically just botted out. You can't get support if you tried. You can't reach a real person. It's nearly impossible to get any kind of response from them. And this is for people who pay for their accounts and people who don't pay for their accounts. If I were him, I would sincerely focus my attention on ensuring that people have a great experience using my app, that they have a unified experience on all different platforms. I take it to the I'm in California, but the governor of Florida, he was going to run for president, and he wanted to announce it on Twitter Spaces, and his Twitter Space crashed 3 times. I mean, what kind of experience do you have when you have someone who wants to utilize your platform for what it is, the opportunity to be able to speak directly to millions of people, and your app crashes multiple times. That's not the kind of experience that people want to have. So overall, I'm glad he bought it, but it needs a lot of improvement. And he, frankly, if I were speaking to him directly, I would say to him, you need to spend less time picking up chicks with your app and more time fixing it.
Well, I guess he has a really but in general, I think he does a good job when it comes to the freedom of speech. I have to agree with this. But when it comes to like reaching a human being or getting support from a human being, I think all the apps, all the services around the world, literally everything is heading towards automation, and that's why they need to cut costs. They can have people employed replying to millions of users. So I think we are just moving away. If they keep doing this, they will become irrelevant because their cost would be just to fight to run.
I, I, I respectfully disagree. This is a man who was just announced as, because of stock, the world's first trillionaire. Okay, he, of any person in the world, can hire a customer service team to meet the needs of his platform. And I understand that automation needs to be done to some extent, but you need to be able to reach a person. If you are a customer of JP Morgan Chase, or you're a customer of Bank of America, or wherever you bank, Deutsche Bank, eventually you're going to get to a person and you can explain your issue. And maybe they're going to help you, maybe they're not. That's impossible with X support. And also, it's all outsourced. You don't know anyone in the United States, or perhaps even the Western world, who works at X in their support team. All of them were fired when Elon Musk took over. And not even, I'm not saying they were doing a good job. No, 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 no. And I agree with you. I agree. I'm not saying they were doing a good job before that. I'm saying of any person, any single individual who's publicly known on this earth who could ensure that there is a working customer service team, he is the person who can do it, especially with the money that he makes in revenue from advertising and Twitter premium features. Absolutely, he could. They choose not to because there's a certain aspect that they like the echo chamber. They don't want perhaps some people to be using the app, and anyone who they want to silence, it's pretty easy to by just banning their account. And I understand that he has given back the freedom of speech to many people.
Are they still banning the accounts, do you think? I haven't heard much about it, but have you seen some?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look at the woman. I believe her name is Tiffany Fong. She is she's a pretty big X influencer. When she rejected Elon Musk's um, direct messages to have children with her, she lost her blue check mark, and she has the charts of her interactions falling by more than 50%. That's really unfortunate that a woman or any person who doesn't uh, basically follow the request of the owner of the app will have their income cut just because they don't want to reproduce with that person. And those people and the influencers who have Ashley St. Clair, who have had children with Elon Musk, he hasn't publicly acknowledged that he is the father when it's quite obvious that he is. Look at her. Look at her post history. So he, in my opinion, is kind of a creepy person. To be honest with you, he's not focusing on making the app what it truly could be. He's using the app as basically a dating or a reproduction site with its female users.
I guess they all just be getting one. Or they 7,000 followers today. I have once. You might soon.
That's right. He might be in your DMs.
There's a bunch of people heard you talk about something that they call a Santa machine.
Yeah, Santa Claus machines. This is one of my favorite topics. Yeah, so imagine a 3D printer, but instead of using plastic, it can use any element in the periodic table, and it can create anything that you want. It's a phenomenal idea. It's hypothetical at this point, but becoming a reality where 3D printers are no longer just using plastics, but they're using other types of materials as well. So that means you could make a car, you could theoretically make a person, you could make a dog, you could make a rock, whatever you want to make. So imagine a 3D printer that instead of just using plastic, it has essentially connections to all of the different elements in the periodic table. Isn't that a cool idea? That's exactly right. Yeah, I call it replicator myself. Many times, the replicator from Star Trek. If you're not familiar, yeah, 100%. That's the same thing.
I feel I'm deep down the rabbit hole, and I feel I'm nowhere near your level. You addressed it at minus 10 nothing in the list.
If you're
I've actually heard some stuff like that before. In terms of like the hello, is this a Satoshi space? I have some deals to marketing. Hello, 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 is this Satoshi Mumbai? Satoshi Mumbai, hi, GM, log in, bro. Follow back. GM, Satoshi. Rabbi, what's your take on crypto? What do you think about crypto?
It's the future. It's absolutely the future. I've been a part of a cryptocurrency. They adopted me into their community. It's one of the OG meme coins, Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. I'm currently wearing their merch. I've been wearing their merch for more than 2 years. I'm live, literally on the bedspread that has Bitcoin all over it. I think it's freedom for the little guy, so to speak. It's a way that you can quickly make money to be able to perhaps free yourself of inflation and fiat currency. And I'm a huge advocate, and I think it's the future.
What chain there?
They are on Ethereum.
Oh, maybe. Well, I think they're like. Are they like kind of like-minded like you? Like.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're open-minded individuals. There are 12,000 people in their Telegram. I'm live streaming their Telegram. I have been for years. I'm on their fantasy in their fantasy football league. It's a really great community. And while many of those meme coins have gone by the wayside, Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, the ticker's Bitcoin, remains strong. And the core group of people are just some of the best people I've ever met.
Maybe they can help us out a little bit. Because we are a crypto project. I don't know if you know that. But yeah. It's been a name from Mumbai. So yeah, we started but he's no Indian accent anymore. You probably still sing one day. Today's the day. No, I said we're wrong now. We've gone the wrong way so far, so. Not there again, boys. Not there again. Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
I've been scrolling down your page. You know how to find yourself a find space.
That's what I do. I put the word shill into Twitter and I search anybody who's going to allow me to shill my project, and I do. You're 100% right. If I could drop some alpha on the room just before I go, if you guys aren't aware, a really great website is known as spacesdashboard.com. If you want more data on how to find spaces. Now, you guys have a great space. I've seen your profile pictures before. You guys have a great core. But sometimes people are looking for perhaps spaces that may not be featured on the Twitter space list. So if you go to spacesdashboard.com, it is the best option for finding any kind of topic that you want. It not only has all of the spaces that are currently going on, you may not know, but there are over 300 English speaking spaces right now and over 600 Japanese spaces right now. There are spaces in all types of languages that aren't being featured. It has them in order of the largest space to the smallest space, but you can uh, most certainly. And if you weren't able to hear it, spacesdashboard.com. And you can also order it. Yeah, spacesdashboard.com. If you have the opportunity, I suggest everybody take a look at it right now. You can find this space in there. You can get all the recordings from any space host in there. It's very easily navigable. And additionally, you can order it by chronologically, so spaces that just started. You can also see how many people are in the space, but also how big their network is. So it combines all of the spaces, speakers at least, and you can see which ones are more influential, so to speak. It also has a much better search function. I know I use iOS and Android and desktop to find spaces, and sometimes I just get errors, and it's an unknown reason why. I just kind of think that it has to do with Twitter not being that great of an app. But if you go to spacesdashboard.com, you'll be shocked. It's amazing. The search, it works every time. The ability to see posts in their previous spaces is amazing. You can get the recordings there. So I highly recommend that website.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's actually some really good output. So yeah, appreciate that. I've saved that for sure. So yeah, thank you very much, Rabbi, for jumping in. And yeah, I like the pitch. It was like Al said, it sounded too good to be true, really, in terms of how
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, everyone. If you want to connect with me, my DMs are open. Feel free to send me a follow. I follow back and just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me share. Take care, everyone.
myself. So yeah, keep on doing everything. Yeah, I hope guys are doing it. I see friends that are speaking with you. I'm going to go, but just to speak and people, I just like teach me more. You know, as my son, I don't know that. Anyhow, I don't think that Gary again. I just find what I think Gary when I'm sick. I think Gary, like that's what I use as my water. Gary water, especially those Mr. Gary. Just give me that one. Those sour Gary, I mean. And then that's the one I use to take my medicine and everything. Yeah, which is yeah, connect with me. You guys should follow me. Follow me, oh. Follow me. I'm making you see promised land. I am your promise. Please follow me. Oh yeah, we're going. But very soon, we will not direct me. Oh yeah, start following me. Thank you. Don't worry. I will show you the promised land. Okay, I don't know if everyone is logging again. So disability is about people hearing you speak. You don't just want to be the only one speaking or talking to a small audience. Please. Okay, so let AJ speak. AJ, you're up. AJ, I don't understand. What are you talking now? Okay, that's great. Okay, I can hear you.
Focus on few things. Okay, initially myself, what am I, who am I? Okay, a social media manager, right? A volunteer social media manager I volunteer as a social media manager for Arbitrum Nigeria. Currently an ambassador for the blockchain network. The blockchain, it's a project, new startup. So my aim is to bring on board members, talk about what my project is all about, just how to put it, build a vibrant and engaging community. It's not limited to an ambassador. We have ambassadors. So I'm an ambassador. I'm also a photographer, a research manager, research assistant, anyone, just anything. I'm into also front into coding also, but the kind of the stress combining schooling, combining offices, posts, school politics, and wherever it really is. I just have to, suspend the coding one side. That I suspended really, but I just have to just keep it one side because if I did I am currently, I think, taking into React JS, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm on the 19th of it, ahead again. Kind of go Chris. I just have to, suspend it because studying electrical engineering and wherever is not really easy. But I am, and virtually is not really easy. So, anybody looking for a social media manager, gaming just pray for what a social media manager is. There are more to what it's not only about managing someone's accounts, it's only about managing project, like maybe using that with Binance, about only making the post and whatever. You're just like indirectly like a marketer. But yes, it's mostly social media management. So your content you make are what drive people, right? Are what drive people. So if you're the kind of person that is not good at, let me say, let me use, and everybody here is into, making the money. I'm part of those. I see updated hobby. Everybody can just yummy. Or another aspect is, yes, even though everybody wants to make this money, people are just doing it in a way that is not really unique. They're really use that is desperate. I'm not the kind of person that look for short term. And everything what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm exaggerating. Or sorry if I'm going beyond what I was meant to say. Majority, every crypto space, everything in the crypto space has their own season, right? So there comes the time when NFT was raining, the drop nice,
Thank you, Treasure. Do you mind if I share with the room my project?
Alright, you can share your project. We are three enthusiasts and we love to hear your project.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Rabbi Rothschild. If you don't know who I am, you will. I stream my life 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for world peace. I've been doing so for more than 4 years. My streams go back to the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. This is a real life Truman Show, a real life Big Brother. This is a timeline or a time capsule of human achievement. In the 1990s, Bill Gates coined the phrase content is king, and I'm making it true today. I'm king of the internet. This is the biggest magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's number one resource, and I have more data archived on the internet than any person ever, which is making me a very influential person. And with that influence, I'm going to go viral soon. And when I go viral, I want to make you, your friends, your family, all independently wealthy if you're not already. I want to make sure that you have generational wealth, and I want you to be able to start charities and philanthropic organizations of your own. I'm unlike any influencer you're ever going to meet. I'm not live on one YouTube stream nor two. I'm live 24/7 on more than 20 simultaneous YouTube streams. You can watch my life in 360 degrees. I even have a ceiling camera. You can find a link to all of my streams in my pinned profile post. You can also find a link to my link tree. I dare you to look at my link tree. I have the biggest link tree you're ever going to find. I have more social media than anybody on the internet. It would take you years to go through all of my content on just one or two accounts that I have. And in addition, I have more social media accounts than any person ever. Additionally, you can find my Discord link there. It's discord.me/rabbi. I'm live 24 hours a day. If you ever want to connect with anybody, I'm live in there.
Alright, Rabbi, I don't know if anybody understands your project. I don't know if you're a robot or a real person. Actually,
Treasure, I'm a real person.
okay, you're too fast. You're very fast. I don't understand what you're trying to say, but I guess you're trying to make us understand that we should give you a follow and check out what you're into, right?
If you'd like, I would appreciate it if I could go slower and I could finish.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We get you. We don't have much time, and we're rushing in to get more people. I get it. If you guys are interested in checking out Rabbi, do well to check him out and see what he's into, and you can send him a DM. Your DM is open, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. So you're going to send him a DM and get to see what he's been there. I just checked out his profile and I'm seeing amazing stuff. And just do well to check out his profile and give him a follow. Alright. Okay, let's move on to Pascal. Pascal, the mic is yours. You can speak.
Treasure, you're never going to be successful if you don't allow people to share. Will you speak too quickly? You listen too slowly. I'm not even going quickly. How slowly do you want me to speak? What is this, that fucking episode of Taxi? What does a yellow light mean?
Next week, I've got a graduation for my niece, so just need to finish before I just put a dress. As well as my son's graduation. So I had a
Your son graduated today and you're not at it.
into the season now with the tournament. This is my second business. Also backed by a huge company for any services or update in regards to training for being nature. We are working with other chains as well. This is only for the main target of any project missions, but we can do anything. Like I said, things takes time. Progress and growing a lot more solid foundation by having another meditation to the Big Bang Media that just consolidates every single person that we are connected with and associated with, and every single one of that Big Bang Media's project we are very connected and also talks in regards to know each other. We're actually doing each other and making sure that we're always up to date.
Hello. Do you mind if I share my project with you? Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Rabbi Rothschild. If you don't know who I am, you will. I stream my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for world peace. I've been doing so for more than 4 years, going back to the pandemic. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. This is a real-life Truman Show, a real-life Big Brother. This is essentially a time capsule or a timeline of human achievement. In the 1990s, Bill Gates coined the phrase, "Content is king," and I'm making it true today. In the in 2018, The Economist magazine stated that data had overtaken petroleum as Earth's number one resource, and I have more data archived on the internet than any person ever, which is making me an influential person. And with that influence, I will go viral. And when I go viral, I want to make you all, your friends, your family, independently wealthy if you're not already. I want to make sure that you have generational wealth if you don't already. And I want you to be able to start charities and philanthropic organizations of your own. I'm unlike any influencer that you'll ever meet. I'm not live on one YouTube stream, nor two. I'm live simultaneously on over 20 YouTube streams. You can view a link to those YouTube streams in my pinned post in my profile. Additionally, you can see my link tree. I have more social media than any person ever. I dare you to look at my link tree. Nobody's going to dare you to look at their link tree, but I am. I want you to see how much I have been growing and how much content I have. Additionally, you can find a link to my Discord there, which is discord.me/rabbi. I'm live 24 hours. You should know, in addition to streaming my life and wanting to make you rich, I'm an advocate for ending world hunger through the use of technology such as agricultural drones, floating greenhouses, saltwater greenhouses, hydroponics, vertical farming, cloud seeding. I want to help end world thirst. I'm sponsored by a cryptocurrency that's worth about $100 million, and one of the things that we do is we build wells and water towers in developing nations such as Nigeria. I'm an advocate for the Life Shore program and, most importantly, desalination technology, where we pump Earth seawater onto land to make it drinkable. If you're a reply guy, if you're a Web3 marketer, if you're a shiller, if you're a raider, and you want a mentor, you want a coach, you want a friend, come to my Discord. I'm willing to help you 100% free. I never charge for anything. I want to make sure that you make more money and that you're more effective in your business strategies. Most importantly, though, I want you to know that I'm here to support you, both professionally and personally. I'm here to be a positive person in your world. I'm here to have a I'd like to, if possible, have a as best of a positive view on the future as I can. And most importantly, I want to give people hope. And with that, I sincerely want to thank you for the opportunity to share.
I know I heard him a couple times, but he's at it. I admire the laser focus on what he's doing great, and that's all I can give is give respect where respect is due. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep plugging away the algorithms, and I think one day or another, it's going to be a better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you again next week. Something bigger than Sunday show. Shout out to Keller, Rabbi, Sebastian, Mikey, also shout out to the team, Keith, Mr. B, and George, rest of the night. Cheers, man. Good night, brother. Good night.
Listen, let it listen.
Insurance company offered him $60,000, which could seem like a lot of money, but when Sue James took over the case, they reported $745,000 instead. $745,000. That's it. I can't guarantee the outcome of the case, but it was a car crash, motorcycle accident, drug and accident. The attorneys at Sue James are unstoppable when pushing for justice and paying nothing for the win. So if you're a loved one during the accident, you call Sue James. 809 million for free consultation. And don't wait to inherit your case. Call and confirm the witness bunch of Sue James. 809 million, 809 million, 809 000 SweetJames.com.
The Traffic Center is brought to you by your Toyota dealers. It's the Here and Now sales event at your Toyota dealer. Don't wait to grab a great deal on a new Toyota. We make it easy. We're going back to that garage on Casino. On Tuesday on that northbound side of Wanda, 3 lanes is picking up over across the Boulevard and along the southbound side at Cedar Boulevard in Tarzana. A stop is being cleared up the right lane, slowing things down away from Rebecca. Eastbound lane crash 710 northbound before 60. We're clearing it off to the shoulder. Last check it was still the right lane blocked with a backup away from Washington Boulevard, and they wrapped up a wreck in Gwyneth Park. Eastbound before Beach Boulevard lanes open. Nice recovering from Carmelita.